George Queenan. Top of the stories is Ningo Prampram MP Sam George shoots down Speaker of Parliament's request for reconsideration of anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Also, Greater Accra Regional Minister promises staff action against indiscipline and illegal development. Also, Vice President Professor Annan urges NDC members to focus on implementing government policies. We have details of these and more coming up shortly. Stay with us. My name is George Queenan, and now let's settle for the details of the stories. On to our very first story. A co-sponsor of the Humanitarian Rights and Family Values Bill 2025, Samuel Untitled George, has called on Parliament to transmit the bill to President John Dramani Mahama for the necessary constitutional processes. He argues that Parliament's standing orders do not provide room for reconsideration of the bill. He was speaking to journalists on the sidelines of the 4th Interparliamentary Conference on Family, Sovereignty and Values. We bring that sound in our subsequent bulletins. And now, Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu is promising tough action against indiscipline, illegal development and poor planning practices blamed for the city's recurring flood crisis. And the pledge follows Wednesday's downpour, which submerged major roads, cut off communities, and left a trail of destruction across several parts of the capital. As regional minister, she added that she's committed to ensuring that accountability, professionalism, and strict adherence to the law become the hallmarks of governance within the Greater Accra region. In response to these events, the government, through the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, will immediately implement a series of measures aimed at improving public safety, strengthening regulatory compliance, and protecting lives and property. And meanwhile, Alfred Kwesi-Opoku, development planner and former president of the Ghana Institute of Planners, has been speaking about this very development. Take a listen.
Well, we are finishing, for example, this plan we are working on by August. You'll finish, you commission it, and therefore, whatever that needs to start. Technically, we have done everything that must be done because we have identified in each particular assembly the hotspots, and we have designed what must be done at each of the hotspots, the kind of engineering solution and so on, the communication plan we do. By August, this will be land, and we believe that August the rain would have stopped or subsided, and we have from August to the next year, May, something would be done to say that we may not have to wait for the metro to tell us what we have to do.
And you heard Alfred Kwesi-Opoku, who is a development planner and the former president of the Ghana Institute of Planners. And still on flooding, the Lankwantana Mandina Municipal Assembly, Landma, says it will arrest and charge the landlord whose building collapsed at Adenta New Site, killing one and injuring 4 others. According to the municipal chief executive, Ibrahim Faila Fuseni, they said landlord defied orders and warnings, but still pursued the building when the contractor pointed out some structural defects. Residents here are still living in shock after losing one of their own. It was an avoidable death, they told the news team. For us, these 2 heroes managed to evacuate some of the victims, a family made up of 9.
Ye fra kwara na ojejesu ye sheda ni bebi owo na ye kakra na edi sound na chi e be nso sha no sei na ewura ase akofa ye tools e chise na chise kaka nro mu di machine o di bae e kasa o mu di be se adwuma na wan hwe be sa bu aku akwara nto mo nya abotre mai o na nya abotre na chise kakra na ehu ne na etwe abofra ni pie na nkofro bebile wa obi antimi anya hwe obi antimi akwa ase because obi asuru so kwa bibi besi ana meni bra ekofi meni mienu na eba e ko sesan ya chise ya bibia hama omudi excavator ba want me anya hwi ogina ya ana bubo no kakra ye frefre yante obi anka ye frɛ police for yante omuka fire service omamba ana ya ankasa e start kakra na yi ni pa baako.
Some relatives are deeply hurt by the loss. The Ghana Fire Service confirmed that, apart from the rescued victims, a dog and Toyota Corolla were also retrieved.
I've realized that ever since we left, the place has been left untouched. And so I've spoken to them. I was trying to communicate with the district NADMO director to see what's the next line of action, because for us, we are done with our physical work that we're supposed to do on grounds. And so we expect that the debris will be collected so that further investigations can be done, so that we bring in the engineers to also come and then confirm the structural integrity and all those stuff. It's supposed to be a team, a collaboration.
And if you just tune in, you are listening to the Morning News here on 3FM 92.7 with me, George Queening. And now, a fire outbreak on Wednesday, June 3, at the Central Police Barracks Annex in Accra has displaced more than 100 police personnel and destroyed several properties. During a visit to the scene on Thursday, June 4, the Minister for the Interior, accompanied by the Inspector General of Police and leadership of the Ghana Police Service, condemned attacks on firefighters and assured affected residents of temporary accommodation. Let's listen to the Interior Minister.
This was a scene at the Central Police Barracks Annex in Accra when the news team arrived on Thursday, June 4. Firefighters had successfully contained the blaze and left the scene. However, traders returned to the area by morning with no city guards present to prevent access. The affected area had not been cordoned off, exposing traders and residents to potential danger. Some traders expressed frustration at what they described as a delayed response from the Ghana National Fire Service.
What pained me most was the fire service. They were here, their trucks were here, but 2 hours, no dumja. 2 hours, no dumja, and it was burning. It was really burning.
Accra Fire Service to do. Central Police Station, the
Accra Fire Service came here and said, there is no water in the tank. What is your work if they only came here to say there is no water in the fire tanker?
But the Greater Accra Regional Fire Commander rejected the claims, explaining that fire tenders are always dispatched fully equipped and carrying water.
Let me put it on record. There is no fire engine that can carry unlimited water. It is not possible, because there is no fire engine that can come and mount here around 7 p.m. yesterday and fight fire to this morning 3 a.m. without the water exhausting.
The Minister for the Interior assured affected residents that temporary accommodation would be provided while plans are made for their relocation.
The newest fire tender we have is 14 years old. So when they are coming in big and they get there and you're attacking them, how fair are you to them? It's we, the state, who must provide them with those equipment. The president is on the mood for us to be able to buy new fire tender. We started the process, we've gotten the commencement, the process is on.
And now the Vice President, Professor Annan has urged government officials and members of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, to remain focused on the delivery of government policies. She made the call at the National Democratic Congress June 4 uprising commemoration held at Banda on Thursday, June 4.
Vice President, Her Excellency Professor Jinana Opoku Ajiman, highlighted the importance of unity in building a resilient state, reflecting on the lessons from this pivotal moment in Ghana's history.
We have come 47 years since. We have much further to go. And it's not just counting the time. It is about the quality of the impact. And as I said, it depends on all of us. We can make Ghana much better today than it was yesterday. We can make it much better tomorrow than it is today.
Johnson Esedun Ketia, the national chairman of the NDC, has demanded justice for those who lost their lives in the elections and called for an end to electoral violence.
Polisi adwuma no onu nyina onu na so nye omo adwuma na gidi emfiri mu emma na Ghana fo hu se udi boni na polisi ba obedwane afiri ho.
General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Fifi Fiavikote, cautioned party members and other political leaders against pursuing leadership positions out of personal ambition.
Cut out the desperation. Cut out the selfishness. Cut out the thinking that this is about you. You must orchestrate left, right, and center. No! Because this country Leave leaders who truly just love the country, not themselves.
Before we part company, the Accra High Court has ordered that MPP Bono Regional Chairman Kwame Bafu, aka Bronja, be remanded into police custody after he failed to meet his bail condition of depositing his travel document. Lawyers of Abronyo on Thursday prayed for his bail conditions, which required him to deposit his passport to be varied, citing the need for their client to travel to the UK for educational purposes. Lolita Sari reports. Well, we will bring you that story in our subsequent bulletins, but that's how we end the morning news. Before we go look again at our top stories, Ningo Pram MP Sam George shoots down on Speaker of Parliament request for reconsideration of anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Greater Accra Regional Minister promises staff action against indiscipline and illegal development. And Vice President Professor Nano Pokwajiman urges NDC members to focus on implementing government policies. My name is Josh Queening. For more news updates, just log on to our website, streamnews.com. Thanks for listening. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good morning.
Three FM.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Hello there again, good morning and welcome to the Business News on Sunrise. Coming up this morning, Government of Ghana seeks 5.442 billion cedis in treasury bill auction today to bounce back from 2-week under-subscription streak. Finance tax analysts project cedi to stay below 11 cedis by end of second quarter as forest demand eases.
We are gradually moving away from dividend payment season. The cedi is expected to remain below 11 Ghana cedis by the end of the second quarter.
Plus, Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy (CEMC) urges government to fast-track goldfields lease extension to protect mining sector.
The delay in extending the lease of goldfields is likely going to affect FDI's inflows because other foreign companies will be observing what is happening with respect to goldfields and also delay investment in appropriate areas of the economy that will help boost growth.
We have details of our headlines and other stories coming up shortly. Stay with us. My name is George Quinn. Now the business news begins. The government of Ghana is entering the domestic debt market on Friday, June 5, 2026, targeting a total haul of 5.442 billion cedis through a weekly treasury bill auction. There is more in the following 3 business news desk report.
The borrowing target comes at a critical juncture as government looks to rebound from a disappointing 2-week streak of market under-subscriptions. To raise the 5.442 billion cedis, the Bank of Ghana will offer securities across the 3 standard short-dated tenors, comprising the 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day bills. 3 Business is keeping a close watch on today's auction as it will serve as an essential gauge of investor sentiment. With short-term liquidity management currently anchoring the broader fixed income market, the outcome will reveal whether government needs to adjust its yield offerings upward to attract tighter institutional capital or if investors will naturally step in to plug the recent financing deficits.
That was a 3 business news desk report on government seeking to borrow 5.442 billion cedis in treasury bill auction today to bounce back from 2-week under-subscription streak. And now the Ghana cedi is projected to maintain its stability and remain below the 11 cedi mark against the dollar by the end of the second quarter of 2026, according to finance and tax analyst Nelson Codjoe. His forecast comes off the back of IC Inset projecting that pressure on the cedi is expected to persist through June 2026 as elevated energy prices continue to drive high foreign exchange demand. The local currency weakened by 4.6% in May 2026. Speaking of the currency's outlook to 3 Business, Crosby explained that the market is gradually moving away from the season of increased commercial demand for dollars.
We are gradually moving away from dividend payment season. Most multinational companies will actually stop or cease repatriating profit back home. Businesses have also restocked, and so we don't expect those who are into importation to be demanding more dollars to, import into the country, most especially those who are into the business of the consumables. Ghana Stock Exchange is doing very well, and so a lot of investors are having so much confidence in the Ghana Stock Exchange, and so instead of buying their dollars and pull down, they would rather prefer to go and invest within the Ghana Stock Exchange or even the fixed income market. And so most investors will be channeling their investable funds towards the Ghana's financial market rather than buying and holding the dollars. And finally, we have also been told that the Bank of Ghana will be intervening within the market in the month of June to the tune of about $1.2 billion. And this FX intervention mechanism is expected to curtail the depreciation of the Ghana cedis because $1.2 billion is such a significant amount to meet the demands of the market. And so, given the above background, the cedi is expected to remain below 11 Ghana cedis by the end of the second quarter.
You heard finance and tax analyst Nelson Codjoe Agbeji. And now the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, CEMSI, has called on the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and the Minerals Commission to expedite the extension of goldfields mining leases. Executive Director at CEMSI, Benjamin Isia, is warning that further delays could harm the country's economic growth.
According to CEMSE, the mining sector underperformed last year, and any delay in processing lease renewals could prevent companies from injecting the necessary liquidity to boost production.
This year, the company may be expecting to inject certain liquidity to improve production, but such a delay is likely going to affect the ability to inject liquidity into these particular their operations. The delay in extending the lease of goldfields is likely going to affect FDI's inflows because other foreign companies will be observing what is happening with respect to goldfields and also delay investment in appropriate areas of the economy that will help boost growth and also ensure that employment generation is also promoted.
CEMSE also urged government to provide regulatory clarity on joint venture agreements and state equity participation to maintain investor confidence and safeguard employment.
If there are also new arrangements or new development in terms of getting joint venture agreement between goldfields, I think that the government must also bring some form of clarity whether we are likely going to use MEF as a special purpose vehicle to own our carried and participatory interest, just like what we have in the petroleum sector. I think that clarity must also be developed, and that also means that we also need to look at the mining law so that we factor some of these new developments that are coming in terms of equity and participation in our mineral sector.
The mining sector is a powerhouse in Ghana's economy, typically accounting for $5.5 billion to $7 billion annually in economic value and directly contributing between 5% and 7.6% to the national gross domestic product.
That was a report on the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, CEMSI, urging government to fast-track goldfields lease extension to protect mining sector. Now, financial institutions operating in West Africa say they face significant structural challenges in channeling long-term capital to the mining and energy sectors, with the sheer size of funding requirements and policy unpredictability cited as the most pressing constraint. The concerns raised at this year's West Africa Mining and Power Expo, WAMPES, reflect a broader tension across the financial sector between the demand for patient capital in extractive industries and the short to medium-term nature of most banking deposits. Executive Vice President for Mining and Metals of Stanbic Bank, Lauren McPort, speaking on the panel on government-private sector partnerships for investment growth and sustainability, said the issue goes beyond appetite.
There are a number of barriers that as financiers we face in providing capital into the two sectors, namely mining and the energy sector, one being the sheer scale of capital required for such projects. The payback period for projects of such nature is longer. Looking at our balance sheet size, and the deposit misses between the medium to short term. It doesn't really support the kind of longer term financing that is required in the sector. Again, just to mention that there are other barriers. Number two is policy certainty. Projects in this region or projects in the mining and energy sectors needs approval from the government. Delays that happens with approval kind of also delays funding for the project. And then also, if there is no stability about fiscal regimes, taxes change, mining costs change, that impacts the predictability of a project, and in a way, give us some hesitance in funding the sector.
That was Executive Vice President for Mining and Metals of Stanbic Bank, Logren McPort. And before we part company, let's take a look at how the city is faring against other major trading currencies and how some of the key commodities are also faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis, 84 pesos. It gained 3 pesos. The British pound is selling at 15 cedis, 91 pesos. It gained 6 pesos. The euro is selling at 13 cedis, 77 pesos. It also gained 7 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at the Forex Bureau now. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $95.27 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,478.27 per ounce, up by $43.46. Cocoa is trading at $3,965 per ton, down by $107.
That was an update from the forest and commodity market. That will be all for business news and sunrise. For more business stories, please check out our website, thestreetnews.com. My name is George Craning. In a world where you can be anything, just be kind. It costs nothing to be kind. Enjoy your morning.
Fifi for leadership and national service, plus cut out desperation for power. Fifi Kwete warns NDC members. If you're an NDC member, the General Secretary has a message for you. He says, cut out desperation for power. That story is captured on pages 3 and 4 of the Daily Analyst newspaper. Also on the front page of the Daily Analyst, Ayawasu East MP urges Africa to defend family values. There's an interesting headline here on the front page of the Daily Analyst. Grab a copy and read it for yourself, but I read portions of it. It says that some judge pushes tougher age checks for adult websites. That's not all that the Daily Analyst wrote. I'd ask the producer if I should read it. The producer, should I read the headline? Producer says I should read what the Daily Analyst says. The Daily Analyst this morning says that no Ghana card, no pono. Punch African newspaper, they say that truth stands. On the front page, Prophet Adum Chedi are set to transform Gambaga witches camp into Philadelphia town. June 3 tragedy, One Ghana movement intensified fight for justice, because 11 years down the line, these victims, they still have not seen justice. Also, the Punch Africa newspaper says senior journalist urges Parliament to abandon review of LGBTQ plus bill. Elvis Afriankra meets Chief of Staff Julius Deborah over National Prayer Day. Also, the front page says, my job is done, Ayariga on LGBTQ plus bill controversy. Obasanjo reveals the secret behind thriving with diabetes for over 40 years. That's on page 9 of the Punch African newspaper. This morning, to the Custodian newspaper, Bako pledges improved water coverage in Tano North. Also, it comes with a picture of Dr. Gideon Bako, the MP for Tano North. NPP affirms stands against LGBTQI+ as minority demands original 2024 bill. Also, the front page, Ghana's inflation hits 3.7% in May. Court remands Abronye again. And Genset condemns Amwakuhine over sexualized attack on Akosia Menu. These are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Custodian newspaper. Now to the News Center newspaper. The front page says, June 3 disaster victims cry to Mahama for justice 11 years on. Claims against ICOM's false. Nick Dansweje, founder and chairman of Ghana Link Services, operators of ICOMs. Ghana Link challenges detractors to provide evidence, and Genset condemns misogynistic attacks on Akosia Menu. That's on page 8 of the News Center newspaper. Mixed signals expose government over anti-LGBTQ plus bill. The minority is captured to be saying, and that's on page 10 of the News Center newspaper. This morning, the Daily Graphic, it says that Finance Ministry releases 1.67 billion cedis for agric sector. Also, 24-hour economy to create 1.7 million jobs by 2028, according to Gusi Tano. Biodiversity, the Goldfields way. Nation to produce first vaccine 2027. The Vaccine Institute is driving local initiative. Comes with the picture of Dr. Soji Tete, Chief Executive Officer of the National Vaccine Institute. And finally from me is the Ghanaian Times newspaper. This morning, it says that floods paralyze Accra again. On page 12 of the paper, major roads cut off, residents trapped. Fire Gat Central, Accra Central Police Barracks on page 3. Avoid handshakes over Ebola threat, the health minister is pictured to be saying. And Gamashi lifts ban on noise making ahead of Homowo Festival. The back page says that Africa must take charge of its digital future, according to Haruna Idrisu, and flood control works at Fulani Dam near completion. the man, Kate Codjoe, was joining me in the studio. Kate, good morning. It's Friday. How do you feel?
I feel all right.
Fridays are good days. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
The exciting days. What do you have for us?
So on the daily guide, pictured is Dr. Amwakohene and Akosua Menu, and it reads, Gen said condemns Dr. Amwakohene over Akosua Kuma comment. And we have Abronye DC remanded for failing to surrender passport. That's on page 3 of the daily guide. And we also have MCL Ghana launches Grand Panache. We see the CEO of MCL Ghana, Richard M. Donko, with the brand ambassador Michael Blankson. And we have Audit Service Board Auditor General lock horns over staff promotion. And then prevent Hajia Forel from accessing my children. RNAQ's ex-wife bemoans. And then for the Daily Post, we have Bipera Abdullahi Jinapo II, Honors Gold Board CEO for leadership and service to Ghana. And Ghana targets $20 billion gold purchase to boost central bank reserves. Minister of Finance averse. We also have the 47th June 4th uprising anniversary. Let's reflect on valuable lessons from this pivotal moment in our history. Vice President urges NDC members.
Yeah, and I'm sure it is at this same event that the General Secretary of the party spoke about the desperation for power.
Yes.
Urging the party supporters,
Fifi
Kwete, to cut out desperation for power.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that for a few minutes and we'll see. What more do you have?
And then MPA marks World Menstrual Hygiene Day 2026 with distribution of over 30,000 sanitary pads to senior high school girls. No, we are the secondary school stock, so we are used to saying secondary school.
Now it's senior high school.
Then the new finder says rice investment will cut $5 billion import bill, World Bank. Government releases 85% of agric budget. And poor access hampered firefighting efforts at Accra Police Barracks. We also have unchecked urban development fueling flooding in Accra. Roads engineer says youth warned against frequent job changes. And then on the back of Daily Post, I forgot to highlight the Banda Ahingro event.
Right.
Yeah, where Vice President Nana Opoku-Agyeman leads in the commemoration of the 47th anniversary of the June 4th. Very colorful pictures in sight.
There was a headline you mentioned about an engineer talking about
unchecked urban development.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's get the detail of that story, and we'll speak with the Ghana Institute of Engineering on the back of it, so that we situate nicely what role engineering plays or can play in reducing the floods that we experience every year. Let's get the detail of that story.
So the story reads a roads engineer with the Ghana East. A roads engineer with the Ghana East Municipal Assembly, Daniel Ochre, has blamed recurring floods in parts of Accra on rapid urban development that has destroyed natural water retention systems and accelerated the flow of storm water into residential communities. His remarks come in the wake of heavy rains that recently triggered flooding in several parts of the capital, including Adenta Pantine and Abokobi. Yes, I think it's supposed to be Abokobi.
Right.
Disrupting transportation and leaving some roads impassable. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Ochre explained that the increasing conversion of wetlands retention ponds, and green spaces into residential and commercial developments has significantly weakened the city's natural flood control mechanisms. According to him, vegetation and natural landscapes once played a critical role in slowing the movement of rainwater from higher elevations into urban areas. There are a lot of retention ponds that a lot of people have failed and built. Initially, if I should explain, those hills were green. It had foliage. So what happens is that when it starts raining and the runoff flows, the green slows it down, he said. Mr. Ochi noted that the removal of vegetation and expansion of construction activities have dramatically changed the speed at which stormwater reaches communities and drainage systems. He explained that rainfall runoff that previously took a longer period to travel through natural channels now reaches the city in a fraction of time, increasing the likelihood of flash floods. So initially, if it could take 1 hour for all the water coming from the Green Hills to Accra, it would take an hour now.
So there's clearly an impact, a role of engineering based on urbanization. There's something for engineers to do to reduce the floods that we keep experiencing in the country. The nature of the planning, the nature of the settlement, amongst others. This is something that we'll be getting on with this morning to speak with the Ghana Institute of Engineering on the role they have to play or what we need to redo in terms of engineering in the country so that we will be able to reduce the impact of flooding. Let's listen to the president a few days ago while he was in London talking about how discipline is mainly the cause of flooding in the country. And then I understand Engineer Annan Hesse has joined us on the line. Engineer, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Crosby.
Engineer Hesse is president of the Ghana Institute of Engineering. There's a general concern coming on the back of flooding that we experience in the country for the past few decades, since before the 1960s. Walk us through this. But first, does engineering play any role, or does it have any role to play in reducing the impact of flooding in the capital? If it does, what role is that?
Thank you very much for inviting me this morning, and I want to say good morning to your listeners. Yes, engineering plays a very big role in our lives, and especially in management, the drainage systems in our country and in our cities. Very much so. We need to understand how the rainfall patterns are, how much runoff is created, and what are the systems that we need to manage these things in such a way that we carry off the runoff into the sea, and also we mitigate the impact of flooding on our daily lives. So yes, engineering plays a big role in this.
Help us understand. Before the 1960s, apart from urbanization and the increase in population, compare that to now. How has the engineering of the capital changed over the years?
Well, the capital city, and if we are talking about Accra has grown very exponentially. In the 60s, Accra used to be little villages along the coast and inland.
Resident here
will stretch to the ring road. La will barely stretch to the ring road. Teshi will not get to the motorway, and we have villages in Abokobi and places like that. So it was fairly small urban areas around the coastal towns, and that's what we had. Now, all these villages and small towns have all merged into one big conglomerate, and it's even extended beyond the boundaries of what we call Accra, into Aburi, into Nsawam, into Kasua, and beyond. Tema has joined to Accra and is moved beyond to from
Cram and other places. So yes, Accra has grown exponentially. And one thing we've done is that we've not done this very systematically as a people. We've allowed the growth to take place almost organically without control. In 1971, there was an adopted strategic plan for Accra. We spent a lot of money, more than $5 million then, to prepare this plan and put up a system to manage it. We are supposed to have green belts around Accra. We are supposed to have drainage channels that are protected and things, and we failed to protect any of these things from the planning point of view and from the development point of view. In doing so, we've compromised the natural sumps, the natural holding areas for water, flooded areas. Places got flooded all right, but there was no risk because there were low-lying areas, water level rises, water level falls, and life goes on. But now we've compromised. Even the spaces within the city, around Alajo and things, there were open lands for water to sit and to be discharged slowly. We filled all of them. So really, as a people, we have not controlled our development. And even when we have spent money to plan the city and to reserve some places for greenery, for water retention and all those things, we've compromised all these spaces without control. We lost the Development Control Act long ago.
I see. If I ask you right now that what are the main engineering concerns as we speak that are contributing to the perennial flooding situation of Accra, what would be your response, engineer?
Now, traditionally, when the natural systems were working, we were always worried about the downstream capacity of the drainage channels. So we were worried about like lining the door and making it bigger so that it can carry more water. So we had relied on these because the natural systems upstream that were retention ponds and all those things were all natural. They were created by nature and were working very well until we intervened in those areas as human beings. And we intervened without control. So the natural retention areas, we've lost them. Even the recent Garrick project attempted to salvage some of these retention areas and leave them for water retention. While the Garrick project is going on, these places are being busily developed. And these are the upstream areas where water is retained so that they get to Accra slowly. For instance, in the 60s, a drop of water that falls in Aburi would take about 12 hours to reach Accra. Today, the estimate is that it takes about an hour. And if it's raining in Aburi and water takes an hour to get to Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and it's also raining in Kwame Nkrumah Circle, like it happened 3 days ago. The 3 days ago in the evening at 5 o'clock, it was already raining in Aburi. It was obvious. I was traveling from that direction. It was not raining in Accra. But by 6 p.m., boom, the rain was falling in Accra. That means you are adding what is falling in Accra with what came from Aburi. And then it rained in the night and made it worse. So really, we have compromised all the retention areas and we have multiplied our problems further south, where it matters most, where the biggest of risk lies, where we have the highest of population concentration. And this is a problem. So now the drainage event is not an event that occurs once a while, once in 10 years or once in 20 years. It's an event that will occur every year. And it will occur in places that never flooded. And it will occur even when we are not in the raining season. Even in the dry season when it rains, we are still at risk. And this is the problem that we brought on ourselves. And we need to collectively think as to how to mitigate this, how to get ourselves out of this problem. We've put ourselves in the most difficult position, and the solutions will not be easy. They will look simple, they will sound simple, but they are difficult steps to take.
I see. Now, engineer, if we're looking at various elements of the things that you've spoken about, if we want to pay attention to, for instance, the drainage system that we have in the country, the condition, poor drainage connectivity, undersized drains, choke drains, silted channels, building in the floodplains, amongst others. How important or how critical are the correction of these factors to help us reduce the impact of what we experience every year?
Yes, thank you very much for this question. We further south in the downstream areas, we've actually expanded. Our ability to expand the Odo further is limited. We have almost run out of space to expand the Odo in the south. For instance, I'm just using that as an example. And now we compound this with silting. We've uncovered every place and place there's silt filling the space in the Odo, and then we are also adding rubbish to it and compounding it. So let's say we are able to, and these are the obvious quick fix: the silt to the Odo and regularly and keep rubbish out of it. The Odo will still not be able to carry the water we are generating upstream. So the part of the problem, which I think is the most critical part, is to start rethinking what ways we have to retain water that falls upstream, to delay its arrival in Kwame Nkrumah Circle, in La, in Teshi, so that the flooding events can be mitigated. And the solution really left to us. If you are not able to reclaim the retention ponds that we had all over the place around R2 and other places, we are not able to reclaim them, then we have to start creating these retention areas in our communities where we live. Probably in our houses, probably below our roads, probably. We need to start thinking of how to retain the water that falls in our local areas upstream, closer to Aburi, in Abokobi, in Medina, in Hacho, in all those places.
Right.
How do we create the retention systems so that we delay the arrival of water into our major channels? And this is a big conversation. It's a difficult one because who pays for it? Do I have to pay for creating a retention pond in my own property? Is the government going to pay for it? The collective ones in our community, who is going to pay for it? These are difficult things. But we have answered that government will have to sit. We make proposals to government as to what we think needs to be done. But this policy of rain retention, previously when we did rainwater harvesting, we were doing it for water use in our houses because Ghana Water is not giving us water properly. So we retain some water in my house now. If you come, we have a lot of drums and things that we collect water from the roofs so that we can attend how often we buy water for ourselves.
Okay. So, but engineer, talking to us...
The retention we are talking about is not the water that we take to use in our houses.
Right.
We are looking at retaining water as flood control measure. And then it's a different thinking. And there's a lot of engineering required in getting these processes in. And there's a lot of financial issues and a lot of enforcement, government enforcement of quality.
It brings me to my next question, engineer, that based on the concerns that you've shared with us this morning, I don't know whether you would have an answer to this. You have an idea how much it will cost us to properly re-engineer parts of the capital to significantly reduce the impact of flooding? Is there a figure? Is there a number to this?
I don't have a number because like I said somewhere else yesterday, if this is the path that we need to go, then we need to get all the advice we need in terms of modeling our rainfall and water carriage and retention processes to understand quite clearly the scope of the work that we need to do and how quickly we can put this in place. It's only when that work is done that we can estimate how much it is. But it's not going to be cheap and it's not going to be easy.
So then the question will be, in fact, this is one from a viewer on Facebook, Paulina. She says that, so they want to tell us there are engineers in the country. Where were they all this while? So what has been happening all this while? And I don't mean you, I don't mean your institution, but for the entire engineering brains that we have in the country, how have they not, number one, spoken to the various stakeholders, or is it that when they talk, they don't hear?
Well, there have been engineers around all the time, and these issues, I can tell you, go 20 years back, go 30 years back, go and look at workshops and seminars and things that we did at the Ghana Institute of Engineering, and you hear the same messages, talking about direct retention centers. When I started work 40 years ago, 50 years ago, in the 70s, in the 80s, the mid-80s coming. When we were preparing the 1991 strategic plan and structural plan for Accra, it was being done by the planners who were cooperating with them. These issues were on the table. These maintaining the retention areas and making, they were all on the table. They were written into our plans. They were written into plans that cost us $5 million to prepare.
So then what happened, engineer?
And we failed to enforce any of these things. Our system broke down, and we failed to control anything in our development. And we are still doing the same. We're not controlling anything. And unfortunately, we spend time to elect governments into place to lead us. We give them some of our power to lead the system to be able to bring solutions. And we fail ourselves. And this includes us, the engineers. We're there. We're sitting part of this. And we're on the table, but we're not getting impact. And this is what we've brought on ourselves. It's a collective responsibility. The politicians are there who have to give us direction. The engineers who are giving advisory, who are ensuring that this should be done. The planners who are not doing the control properly. The assemblies that are not doing their part. The dissemination of the assemblies in Accra, so that now we cannot even have one unit to work together in our common interest. These are all part of the problems. We multiplied our problems.
Okay, so based on that, engineer,
solving the problems collectively.
Based on that, what specific engineering policy must Ghana adopt to immediately, if we are serious about reducing floods?
The first thing, and we've done the policy note to the government. We've given this to the Ministry of Works and Housing and Water Resources, and the key policy drive that we are suggesting is that we should take the policy position that we will stop, we will minimize the downstream management measures that are not solving our problems now, that cannot solve our problems now, and focus on upstream measures.
Engineer, break that down for us. When you say downstream and upstream measures,
systems that we need to create in our localities to minimize the runoff that is coming from rainfall events.
I was asking that when you say downstream and upstream measures, break that down for us, engineer.
I've broken that down previously, and I'll repeat that. When I was saying that we've lost our retention areas along the line, and now we need to now artificially create retention in our locality, in our homes, so that when water falls from your roof or water goes into a drain by the roadside, it goes into a retention area where it is held temporarily, so that when the rainfall subsides and the flow levels go low in the channels, we can release this gradually in a way that it doesn't flood. And this is the solution that is left to us, but it has to be done in our localities. We cannot now go to Odo and say we are improving Odo. We have to introduce this measure as part of our storm management processes. And for me, we see that as an institution, as a game changer, if that can be introduced. But it's complex because you have to have a policy, you have to have a management framework, you have to have the financing, and you have to have the enforcement structures to make sure that people do these things locally, or we fund these things locally. And it's a difficult choice, and it's going to take us time.
So these are the things I'm picking from what you've said. There's a problem with drainage connectivity, silted channels as well, and then building on the waterways, obviously. You've also dwelt a lot on the natural retention areas, the loss of wetlands, and then some levels of capacity or outfall systems. If we have to pick one, because we do not have money, we may not have the resources, if we have to pick one to do first, so that next year or the next 5 years, when it rains again, at least what we have been experiencing the past couple of years, it may reduce it to a certain extent. Based on all the factors that you have mentioned, if we have to pick one to do first, what will it be, engineer?
Well, I don't think there's one to do first and one to do second. We need to do all. We need to answer all questions. What we do today, desilting regularly, we have to continue to desilt.
Right.
Taking down structures which are in waterways, we need to continue doing that. completing some of the linkages that are missing. We need to continue to doing that. Where there are constrictions in the drainage system, we need to remove the constrictions. We need to do all that. But for me, the game changer, the one which will reduce the amount of runoff that these systems are taking, is this upstream management that I'm talking about. We are not doing it today. It's not a policy today. It is not something that government is putting money to today. But this is what we need to introduce into the system to bring the game changer. But it doesn't mean that it's coming to replace what we are already doing. What we are already doing, we are not even doing enough of it. We are not desilting enough. We are not doing all these things enough. But we need to do it. And again, we need to make sure that we are covering. There's too much open, sandy areas. It's like we are experts in cutting grass and leaving bare ground everywhere. And the silt carriage, I was driving in Tashi yesterday, and the amount of silt and sand that people are collecting from the drains because of one rain event. And this is sand, fine sand. Sand, I'm sure we're going to sell for construction purposes. Because that Tashi place were sand pits. And so when it rains and they are uncovered area, this sand is easily carried into this and blocks it immediately. And it costs a lot of money to desil. So again, we have to have a process of covering these open areas, no grass, nothing, and we get silt carriage massively into our drainage systems. We also need to look at that. But for me, the game changer is the retention systems that we need to build into our system. We've lost the natural ones. If we have lost them, if we can't regain them, then we have to create them locally. And for me, that's a game changer.
I see. And engineer, we're seeing some document here about the asset at risk due to flooding. Some 3.2 billion cedis. That's the estimated flood-exposed assets in the Greater Accra region alone. And I'm talking about dollars here, $3.2 billion. If we're dealing with the retention concern that you have, do you think it is time to make rainwater harvesting and retention systems compulsory in new developments? Because we will keep growing. The population will keep increasing. People would get new lands amongst others.
Exactly. These are the policies that we propose to the ministry.
Right.
And these are included. Yesterday, when this discussion started on my old students platform, those of us who completed school in 1984, my colleagues who are living in Australia, in the UK, in other places, they joined this discussion. And one of them said something. He said, I've just finished designing a retention system for a new development that's going to take place. Because the city said that when you do that new development, don't contribute 1 cubic meter of excess runoff during storm events. So the developer had a responsibility to retain to design a system that will retain all the runoff from its development so that you don't increase what is there already. So your development will not come and increase the runoff. Your development will retain its rainfall so that when the peak runoff is over, you can release it into the system gradually. And that one doesn't cause any havoc. And this is happening also already. They insist that developers don't add a millimeter cube of runoff to the existing problem. So yes, these are things we have to do, but they are difficult things because even the simpler enforcement things we have not enforced.
Right.
But these are part of the development control system that we have to put in. So that's really the first one. New developments don't contribute extra. But then the difficult one is also coming and say the existing developments also can retrofit. And these are the big questions that once we adopt that is the policy we have to go. And then we have to take these things one by one, isolate them, look at the cost implications, look at who is responsible, what are the legal framework. So it looks simple, rain harvesting. We all know how to do it. We can put rain gutters and put it in and things. But when we ask these questions and we start doing it, then the modeling starts, the engineering starts.
Right.
So there are big questions. Then financing starts. So there are big questions to be asked. But we think that government should first come up and say, we are adopting this policy that we have suggested. And once we have adopted them, then we ask ourselves the next question. What are the steps that we have to take to be able to achieve the outcomes that we are expecting? And then everybody will come onto the table, and we need to engage the right people to help us with our modeling, to help us with our design systems, to help us with our regulations, and also to raise the financing.
Engineer, so this is supposed to be a two-legged conversation. Let me bring in the recent building collapse at Adenta News site. Yes, we started the conversation from flooding, drains, waterways, and engineering. But that collapse also raises another engineering question about building safety in the country. Lots of high-rise buildings we have in Ghana. From what you said, and based on your assessment, are we building safely in this country?
In some cases, you say yes. There are people who are building, and they are building under correct supervision. They have the engineers, they have the architects, they have the other experts that they need to do it, and they consult adequately. There's a large number of construction that is taking place, and it's being taken place by individuals, and they're just employing masons to do the work for them, and they don't have the engineering advice they need. They don't have the control of our cities and our assemblies in how they build, and the control. The assemblies don't have the right caliber of professionals to oversee these things. They are not engaging the private sector to help them to do this. And so I dare to say that we have not resolved these problems. Just the day before yesterday, we were in consultation with the architects and the planners and the surveyors. We're discussing these things. And our assemblies will need to sit up. We've made several proposals over the years to them as to how to do this. We've made ourselves available and say, look, if you don't have the in-house capacity, make sure that you use the private sector. There's a lot of private sector capacity to help to bring this to bear. So we are not regulating ourselves properly again in our building areas, and that's why we get a failure once a while.
Residents here are still living.
Fortunately, I would say that probably the big ones you are doing in Accra, in the cantonments, in the airport, in the range areas and all those things. Normally, these are institutional developers. Mm-hmm. Normally, they are consulting very well to get it done. But it's the ones we are building on our own outside there, which is the problem. And
right.
Again, the difficulty in controlling this is part of the problem, without ensuring that the right technical input is put into these constructions.
When a building collapses, engineer, during heavy rains, what are the first engineering questions you ask before anyone even talks about blame?
Oh, well, you talk about foundation. Water, a lot of our areas will have clay in the soil, and clay swells and becomes weaker when it rains. And so that's why you put foundations in, and you design the foundations to be of the right size so that they can they transfer the load adequately. The clay can bear the load that is put on them when it is wet. So when it's raining and the building falls down, obviously the first thing you will think of is that did the foundation fail? And if the foundation failed, that means the soil gave way and the foundation failed. And when the foundation fails, the whole building comes down. So when it's raining and the building comes down, the first thing that really comes to mind is the foundation, whether there was a failure in the foundation. It could be other things, but the foundation issue comes to mind first.
I see. Engineer, thank you. Thank you so much for your time with us on the program.
You're welcome, Crosby, and I'm happy talking to you, and keep on doing the good work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Engineer Ludwig Annan Hesse, president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering there. Okay, you listen to the conversation, raising critical points and things that lots of people share with. So this appears to be common knowledge. Almost everybody will agree with what the engineer has said, but we still do not implement them. What is happening?
Yes, for me, I think it's just lack of institutional action, or if I should simply put it, institutional inaction. And mostly when these things happen, we blame the central government.
Right.
It's a local government problem. You know,
the central government creates the local government.
Yes, the central government creates the local government. But let's be direct so that we can appreciate whose core primary responsibility it is, because the central government delegates. So it's a local government problem, which continues to occur because the central government has probably not performed its oversight duties the way it ought to. Because I can't understand why year after year we have to revisit this conversation of flooding. And, you know, somewhere last week there was a video of a motor rider who was falling off a bridge. And if you look at that community, the Dome area, I'm sure DJ is familiar with the place. Yes, you see that bridge. Yes, you see that building right behind the bridge. You know, should that building be there? Because clearly it was in a waterway. And fast forward, some few days ago, when the rains came, the situation was worse than it was. So how long has this bridge been there, and how long has this kept recurring? So
if you don't plan your city well, the floods will expose you.
When we were young, there was a TV series called Build Your Ark.
Yes.
Build your ark before the rains.
I remember that. That. Just like if your currency is bad, the exchange rate will expose you.
Exactly.
If you don't plan your city well, the floods will expose you. I think the core question is about enforcement. Enforcement is the main question here. Enforcement is the most important thing to talk about right now. President Akufo-Addo spoke about it. President Mahama spoke about it. First is President Annan Akufo-Addo. Take a listen.
We want that. But the attitudinal change that would enable us to be able to make to bring value to these demands, that is always left out up till today. Whilst as the Ojo River is being dredged, there are still people at home who, when the rains come, think that the easiest way to deal with dirt in their houses is to throw it out into the gutters. Those things have to come to a stop. We all have to speak to each other in Ghana to bring those things to a stop. Because if we don't, no matter the investment that we made, at the end of the day, we'll be back to square one. And I'm not prepared to spend your money in that way again.
The flooding in Accra is not an engineering problem. It is just a problem of indiscipline. We have drains. Everybody says, why don't you do sealed drains? But the problem is when we do sealed drains, people drink sachet water, they eat papaya in those styrofoam plastics, and they just dump them anywhere. And these plastics wash into the drain, and they go and block the drain. And so if you have to unclog the drain, you have to remove all the drain covers and clean it out. You clean it out, you cover it again. In the next...
President John Dramani Mahama agreeing that it is a discipline problem. Former President Annan Akufo-Addo also saying that it is a human being, it is a discipline problem. Kay, do you have issues with that? You think otherwise?
Of course, I think otherwise. I've always said it's three things. You know, it's an engineering problem, institutional inaction or lack of enforcement, and then indiscipline, of course. But indiscipline is the least, because let's look at our drainage system.
Yeah,
you see a waterway with a piance drainage system. You know piance?
Yes.
So you see a big waterway with some piance drainage system. And we want to say that one too is an indiscipline problem. I mean,
if you want to explain it that way, you can explain. It's
so
indiscipline on the engineers to create that piance.
But who was supervising the engineers to deliver the work?
So indiscipline on the enforcement agency as well.
Yeah. So, but he narrowed his indiscipline commitment to the citizens.
Don't mind me.
You know, it's not about citizens being indisciplined. When there's lack of enforcement, you know. How do you expect citizens to conform or comply? You know, so we can't just sit back and I don't know if it's a lack of appreciation of the issues and say it's an indisciplined problem when there's an engineering crisis, when there is a lack of institutional inaction. Who is issuing those permits for those buildings to be built on the waterway? You know,
another interesting thing is when they say it is an indisciplined problem, we agree, but not alone an indisciplined problem. The last time we spoke with some experts in the field, they told us that the rubber we're seeing right now, it does not mean that it was put there recently. Some have been there as old as 50 years. Some cannot, decades after, cannot be degraded. So it means what we're seeing right now, it is not, if you like, our indiscipline. It is the indiscipline of generations that came before us that we're experiencing. So if it was happening then, at that time, if that indiscipline was there at that time, how were we not able to build systems to manage it? You understand? So my grandfather threw a polybag away at a wrong place, and then I'm now suffering the impact. That polybag found its way into a poorly constructed drainage system. Right now, why can't we reconstruct that drainage system to make way for that polybag that was not properly disposed to find its way to where it should be?
Crosby, you know, you read something out when you were speaking to the engineer. You said Accra's exposure, debt exposure alone, or asset risk exposure alone is $3.2 billion. You know, on June 3rd, when the first disaster happened, under Mahama I administration, it cost the government about $55 million post crisis, you know, post tragedy. It cost the government about $55 million. So if we continue to sit back and try to apportion blame, yes, of course, it's important that there's sensitization, there's education, and then enforcement to ensure that there's no rampant, discarding of refuse and littering and things like that. Because, of course, they choke the drains, they don't allow the drains. But how about communities without drains? How about communities without drains? Because there was an instance where single-handedly an individual wanted to construct a road in his community and had to face the law. He had to face resistance. Right. Even though there had been a lot of collaboration between him and the assembly or the municipal of a sort, you know. So you can't just take the law into your hands and say, hey, you want to construct a drain. No, but if you should even go to the district assembly to engage them, will you have audience? Will it be swift? Will the service be delivered as it should? Will they show up? And when they show up, will they make sure they get the work done? These are concerns that, you know, sit within institutional inaction. Because someone comes to make a report that, hey, you know, in our community, we are seeing buildings springing up on waterways. What are you doing about it? And the institution sits back and look. But we thought institutions were supposed to be collaborating with other government agencies. If you are, for instance, the district assembly, and you cannot use your task force because probably you feel they will be overpowered by some macho men and so on and so forth. Why don't you collaborate with the police?
Again, another institution.
So the reason why we say is an is as a result, mainly as a result of institutional inaction. Let's look at all these buildings that are being demolished. Who issued them permits to build in the first place?
And the same institutions can enforce discipline.
I'm praying they come together and take a class action on some of these issues so that we have a landmark case that sits on record and that serves as a way to prevent some of these things from happening in the first place. And, 10 years later, 8 years later, the law enforcement agencies show up and say, hey, we need to demolish your building because you're in a waterway. Who got paid when they were issued the licenses?
Right.
Is that a question that doesn't bother the conscience of a lot of these advocates who feel it is okay to say it's as a result of citizen indiscipline? Where would the indiscipline be if there is no collaboration for indiscipline? So the state institution itself is collaborating with the citizen to be indisciplined.
The two of them all combined. And this morning, we've been talking about public safety from different angles this morning. Flooding, building collapse, enforcement. Let's now look into healthcare. When a building is unsafe, people are at risk. That's true. When a drain is poorly managed, communities are at risk. But when a health facility, a laboratory, or a diagnostic center is not properly licensed or staffed, the danger when people go there for healing is that they do not get it and they get something else completely. That's the conversation that we are introducing this morning, and it's about the recent closure of health facilities in Ghana, mainly about regulation, licensing, patient safety, and then enforcement as well. Well, the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency, HEFRA, they've been on a nationwide compliance exercise, shutting down facilities found to be operating without valid licenses, with expired licenses or under unsafe conditions. In October 2025 last year, 17 health facilities nationwide were shut down. Later, reports said 23 unlicensed and then non-compliant facilities had been closed as part of the broader crackdown. In the Ashanti region alone, I understand 18 health facilities, they suffered the same for operating below acceptable standards. So the story is not just about HEFRA locking the doors of the hospitals or the health facilities, I should say. It raises a bigger question. How did some health facilities operate for years without proper licenses, proper documentation, or safe conditions? Again, a question about enforcement. On one side, the closures are necessary because healthcare facilities are not ordinary businesses, putting lives at risk. So this morning, that's the conversation we're starting right now. And I've been joined by Professor Isahaku Shiraz. He is the Registrar of the Allied Health Professions Council. Prof, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Crosby, and good morning to your listeners.
The recent closure of health facilities by certain regulatory authorities. As the Registrar of the Allied Health Professionals Council, I don't know how you respond to the concerns that these regulatory agencies have that is prompting the closure of the health facilities and how we got there.
Yes, thank you so much once again. It's really unfortunate, but at the end of the day, we have to act, and we are beginning to act. And I can show your listeners and those who will want to indicate that the regulators are beginning to act, and we are going to act swiftly moving forward.
So for the regulators that are closing them, so HEFRA is closing health facilities, and the Allied Health Professions Council, you're closing the labs?
Yes, so Act 857, Section 3 of that Act says that any services that are allied in nature are to be regulated by Allied Health Professions Council. And there are offenses that when you commit, you can actually go to jail. So the board at the beginning of the year instructed my office to take the necessary steps to enforce that part of the Act. So we wrote to all health facilities across the country, informing them that for them to operate successfully and properly, they needed to look at safety, and most of the challenges were identified by certain reports by WHO. So we educated them and provided them with the basis of why we think they have to do the right thing. Then somewhere in February, we started the monitoring in Accra, then we noticed that even though what we thought was a problem was actually much more serious than what was being discussed. And to make matters worse, we are beginning to see legal issues where law firms write to the council requesting us to provide some information to them, and we think there's a need for an act to act now, and that is why we are acting. And in fact, it's a very, very worrisome situation.
When the council visits a facility, what exactly are you looking for? Is it the license of the facility, the qualification of the professionals, the equipment under the CSSD regulations or requirements, the environment, or all of these and other factors? What exactly are you looking for?
So we have a checklist, a very comprehensive checklist. HIFRA is to license the facility to operate. But the facility operates with services, and that is purely under the regulation of the council. So the first thing we look for is that we have a simple question as to who is doing what in this facility. So the who is a professional that we have licensed to practice. So first of all, look at your background, your qualification. We have category of professionals. We have assistants, we have technicians, and we have the professionals themselves, which are the scientists. So we look at the three categories. Where are you placed? What are your scope of practice? Are you qualified to do what you are doing? Then what is exactly the duties you are performing? We have a checklist of your scope, so we match it against what your job description is supposed to be in the hospital or in the health facility. If these three are not matching, then we have a cause to be concerned. Then we also look at the protocols, the procedures, the standard operation procedure that you're supposed to have. We look at them and see whether it meets any basic standard. If it doesn't, we go forward to look at what has been the work so far your person is doing. Look at your records, your quality control procedures. If all this fails to meet the basic requirement, then they will have no other option to believe that it will not play the interest of the general public, and therefore we have to ask you to suspend your operation and come to the council for us to discuss how we can help you to improve what you are doing for you to start the process all the way again.
I see. From what you've experienced as you go around to enforce the requirements, what has been the worst infractions you have found, and how long had some of these health facilities been operating without meeting the standards or ticking the boxes?
Seriously, there are 8 common infractions we have identified. And so far we have visited 43 within the Tamale Ono regions. And of these 43, 21 were asked to suspend their operations until further notice. 15 were cautioned because we believe that they should be able to resolve what we have identified with a written consent, and they have to be signed by the CEO of the company, and then the professionals themselves append their signatures to it that, yes, these things you have identified, we'll give you 1 week to get it resolved and get back to us. Only 6 out of these 43 were actually fit to be called a diagnostic center. The common reasons that we did this, they are either using unqualified professionals. We have a facility, a very huge facility. I may not want to mention names for now. That is supposed to be using professionals to provide those services, and they were using assistants. Assistants are those who have 1 to 2 year training, and then they are to support the professional to work. They don't have to work independently, and these people were using such assistants to provide. So in fact, we saw one where the assistant didn't even know how to simply use a microscope, and was the one in charge of the lab. We also saw a situation where the professionals themselves, even though have licensed them for 10 years, they have not come to renew their PIN. The renewal of PIN is because, as part of the global structure, there is supposed to be what we call continuous professional development, where you have to annually look at your practice, gain some experiences,
And then based on the experiences, we believe you can still provide the services you are going to provide, allow you to come to us and we renew that for another 12 months. There were people over 3 years in the system who have not renewed their PIN and they were practicing. We also have a situation where we visited a lab and almost every product in that lab has expired. They were using expired SQs, expired consumables to run the samples of patients, and we thought that was completely unacceptable. Additionally, we also noticed that the lack of standard operation procedures. What it means is that if you are 2 people in a certain facility, the guidelines that will tell you do this, and this is the result you will get, will have to be written so that even if you are not available, your other colleagues should take that guidelines and do same with variation in scientific outcomes. And unfortunately, almost every single facility we visited had a problem with this standard that globally is the way to go. Then patient safety, we noticed that there were significant challenges with patient safety, where patients, even where a patient is to, samples are to be taken, we believe that the police alone can even get the patient to contract some diseases. And we believe that process, most of them did not meet. Institutions, very poor sanitary conditions, where you basically can look at this place and say, no, this is not where healthcare will have to be provided. We have inappropriate working conditions where people were working with very hot rooms, and you can clearly see that this person is really going through a lot of hell. We have equipment that were supposed to be serviced with product information and service records, which were not available, and we think that cannot be allowed.
Okay.
So most of these challenges we identified were what we used to close down and ask them to suspend their operations until they resolve all those that we have identified with them. Unfortunately, almost every single facility believes that what we did are right. We have to have a written record, and almost every single one that what we were doing was true. They all admitted, and the only thing they wanted was plea. And we are not looking for plea, then we are looking for you correcting your issues, and then you can get back to start work.
I see, Prof. So I asked this question so that I'll be able to ask you this, that based on the findings that you got when you visited these places, they did not happen overnight. These health facilities did not in one day have all their medicines expiring, did not have all their qualifications expire without renewal. It happened over time. So where was enforcement even before we got to the place or the stage where you had to come in to take these actions?
Yes, in fact, unfortunately, you are right. People will select over the job, and that is what leadership is all about. And that is why I believe the fact that we shouldn't allow one group of people to take over the leadership of a particular sector for perpetuity. We have people who stay on the job for a very long time, and unfortunately, the action and inaction were not helpful. But what I can assure you and your listeners that the structure we now have now, I'm sure as part of the current leadership we have at the various regulatory authorities, we are beginning to act. We discussed a lot of things together, and in fact, we've agreed to do this collectively to serve the public. And the only issue we need from the general public is the support of general public in doing this. What has happened in the past, I mean, no one to deliver the point, but the truth is that things were not done properly, things are beginning to be taking control, and then the public will be safer going forward.
And when you say the structure that you have now, the system that you have now will not see us repeating the concerns you have raised, how exactly do you mean, Prof?
Yes, the truth is that there is certain agenda that the president has put in place. I put everybody in tools. And if you don't act, in fact, our minister has given us, we have to sign some contracts with him that if you don't perform this, obviously, you will not be able to retain your job, and I'm sure that has put everybody in tools. The health minister, he has given us directives, and almost everybody acting is because the fact that the person is aware if you don't act, the likelihood that you may not see for long is very high. So because of this good leadership, I'm sure that is why we are beginning to see this change.
And I want to take a few steps back and talk about monitoring the facilities. Was the council monitoring these facilities, but the facilities still refused to comply? Or there was a gap in regular inspection and enforcement? Because if these facilities were serving patients for years before being shut down, then the concern is not only that the facilities did wrong, but whether the regulatory system detected the danger early enough, and possibly the unfortunate impact or effect that it may have had on hundreds of people who have gone to these facilities not knowing that they are not meeting standards, not knowing that unlicensed people are taking care of them, expired licenses, unqualified personnel, poor documentation. Some may have even died as a result.
Yes, Crosby, you are very much on point. The system has been rotten for quite a long time, and it's always a challenge. All along, I personally believe that what has failed us is because the laws that we have is good enough. It's just the implementation that has been the challenge. And as I stepped in, we will begin to see a change, because for so far as we, the leadership, has to act, and we are acting, most of these challenges will have been put to rest. However, because of what you just said, in the past there were a lot of issues that people would have lost their lives, a lot of things would have happened. And in most cases, what we do, not just we look at the current situation, we look at your record. And if there's a cause to believe that what you have been doing over the years has some significant impact on the welfare and well-being of the people, will not just leave you to go scot-free. Will definitely, there are 3 facilities we believe they have a lot of answers to give to us. We have invited them to our office this morning, and we are going to engage them. If there's a cause to believe that in the past they have acted wrongly, and that has led to significant cause harm to the patients, we will definitely be presenting them for a legal action. And I believe that will put a lot of people on their toes to act. And because it's past, we can't say it's gone. We still have to investigate most of these cases and get people punished for their acts and inactions, serve as a deterrent to the rest of those who intend to provide those services for the betterment of our citizens.
And Prof, if you say that the council is changing how it operates, how do you mean practically?
What it means is that the law was available since 2013, but unfortunately the implementation has been weak, and that has to change and is being changed. And I believe that moving forward, people will not see concocted lab results. People will not see scan machines being used by people who are not qualified. Currently, there are 2 people in police cells. We arrested 2 people yesterday evening, and they are to face the law this morning, because we believe what they were doing is completely unacceptable, and they must meet to answer those questions. So because of these changes we are beginning to see, I personally believe that most people will have been safer than before. Just to add that just some few actions we have taken. We've seen a significant number of facilities rushing to appoint and employ qualified people. In fact, for within Accra, what we did, just within a night, people came to my office with appointment letters of more than 25 people, claiming that they've now employed the people qualified to act, and therefore we should open the labs for them and the imaging centers for them to work. And I believe these are actions that will also help employment, using unqualified people, where someone was employed as a cleaner, are becoming a laboratory scientist by their own convention, and the laboratory scientists are in the house unemployed, demonstrating all over the place, saying that those people must be made to answer.
Right.
And this is going to be a positive act as we go forward.
So, Prof, as we go forward, is it that the council will now be proactive, will not wait for people to come and renew their licenses, but will now go out regularly to inspect labs? And if that is what you will do, how often is regularly?
Yes, so obviously it's going to be every single day. We've actually established a unit we call Compliance and Enforcement Unit. Their job when they come to work is to go to the field and monitor and inspect facilities. It's going to be a permanent office, and in fact, we've appointed a director who's in charge of that, with all the zonal offices having their.
And this office was created. This office was created this year.
This was created just about some 6 months ago, and we are going to ensure that those that office put in all the necessary efforts to get every single facility to comply with the rules and regulations of the council.
And those that are not complying?
Those that are compliant, as I said, we definitely will have to take them to court. In fact, we are not going to just caution them and leave. Most of them that we believe they have done harm to the citizens, we'll definitely take them to court and they have to face the law.
Is there an avenue for patients who visit these facilities to also come and talk to you about their own experiences? Because sometimes you may not know what really is happening, or there will be an attempt to cover a few things, but patients may go to the facility, be exposed to one or two things, and they will know that, no, this does not meet a certain standard and will have to report. How do they go about it?
Yes, excellently so, because I can assure you that there's a facility in Accra that a patient walked to our office with a letter chronicling what has happened to her, and because of that, the facility is in trouble now. You also want to encourage all the citizens, all our listeners, that any time you see any health facility that is supposed to provide a service you believe are not providing those services according to rules, get in touch with the Allied Council. We are located at Kolibu. You don't need to come there physically. You can contact us by email. You don't need to put your name, just the information you want to share. And that's information with our phone numbers and our email.
Prof, we seem to be losing you. If you could readjust your position, we'd appreciate it. And my question to you then will be that you spoke about the task force that you have put in place. How will the task force work nationwide? Is it every region? Are we finding it in every constituency, every district, every locality? How are we looking at the task forces operating? Or they'll be central and then they'll go to a place in a week? Explain to us.
So, as I said, it's a standardized task force. Every user office has a task force, and the director, the task force, we have officers and the professionals themselves in the region, and they will be visiting the facilities on a regular basis and send a report to the head office from us taken. So, it's not going to be just a head office. All the user office have this established compliance unit who be acting on behalf of the council within the
Prof, we'll have to end it here. We're having some connection problems with you, but thank you so much for your time with us on the program, Prof. Professor Isahaku Shiraz is Registrar of the Allied Health Professions Council. Okay, we're still talking about the concerns about enforcement, and like we spoke about, this is not. These concerns that they have with the facilities did not come up overnight. Okay, a facility does not become non-compliant overnight. An unlicensed person does not become unlicensed overnight.
Yes,
days come. Products that have expired, they don't expire overnight. So then, where was the council all this while? Again, the problem about institutional enforcement. But he says that now they are changing. Now they'll go around and go and inspect. They have a team in place to go and take reports, submit the reports to the head office, and they'll take it from there.
There are already reports sitting on their desk. What are they doing with those reports? I mean, not to dismiss the work they are doing. Maybe this is a new leadership that deserves the commendation they deserve. Because for me, it goes beyond this. The CSSD part of it is the most sensitive part of some of these operations. Because, I mean, if you look at the CSSD units of hospitals and our health facilities and the labs and things like that, sometimes you wonder, is it a deliberate attempt to just be negligent?
You have an experience.
Yes, I've had an experience visiting about 8 hospitals across the country, and particularly working with CSSD units to better appreciate.
CSSD is what?
Yes. Let me be more emphatic. It's for the purpose of learning. That's the Central Sterile Services Department. So every hospital has that unit, which is responsible for the sterilization, ensuring that standards are met, procedures are followed, and
so what we're seeing here
hospitals
is that
are compliant.
It is responsible for cleaning, disinfecting, sterilizing, storing, and distributing medical instruments and equipment used for patient care, surgery, delivery, wound dressing, and other procedures
like decontamination.
Exactly.
And after every medical procedure, those instruments need to be decontaminated. They go through a machine called the autoclave, which I think they showed earlier. And I'm speaking from a civic perspective. I'm no professional,
right?
Just so that we clarify that. But so yes, that's a typical autoclave. There's a modern one. There's the Chebi Hospital.
Okay.
Yes, Nanado put up a very good facility for his people. Very beautiful space. I mean, the last time I visited the place, they were, almost 100% compliant. Managing the facility very well. So when there were calls recently by Osajifo Amotio for that the hospital needs help, it made me remember that small hospital in my village somewhere in Gomwa. And I was wondering, but that's another autoclave. So these are the old ones. These are probably the colonial ones. And this is an autoclave. This is the machine, the sterilizer. That's the instrument.
Let's call it sterilizer.
Yes,
the
sterilizer.
Shop, like a sterilizer at the barber shop.
Yes, like a sterilizer at the barber shop. This is the sterilizer, that the instruments that are going to be used to operate your wife when she's in labor are sterilized in. Look at where the machine is sitting, gathering dust. Look at the environment around where the machine is sitting.
Does it even
You see,
work?
they've written dressing corner at the very top. So this is the dressing corner, and that is the autoclave. That's the sterilizer.
That is why we have a lot of hospital-acquired infections.
Yes.
You go to the hospital with malaria. By the time
look at that instrument, not to cut you short, Crosby. Imagine this instrument was going to be used on you. If you look closely, if producer can zoom in, and
there's some rust somewhere.
Yes, and not just rust. That is blood. Blood stains that have not been
properly
cleaned for a very long time. On our tour, we had the opportunity of some digital magnifiers, so it was able to zoom in and even see a lot more. And it's disheartening, to see that you go to the hospital knowing you have a sore on your leg, you go to treat your sore, and then you walk away with an additional infection because the instrument used to treat your sore was not sterilized properly. And it's repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It continues, the never-ending cycle. So I think this initiative is very good, especially for the laboratories. Yes, autoclave. That's what they call it. And you'd see very, very beautiful facilities that have broken down autoclaves, you know, and sometimes you are wondering, where did they go wrong? Because this is not something a doctor can buy with his money. It's not something a nurse can buy with his money. Not even, it goes through a process. So you are wondering how we look at that.
It reminds me of an
look.
experience.
Those are vaccines. Those are vaccine boxes.
Exactly, and so
and see how they are packed there for community health workers to pick them up and go and deliver healthcare services.
See the bowl broken. There was a health facility that I visited there. You know, they have like some form of a refrigerator to keep these vaccines. So you keep them there so that they maintain a certain temperature so you can use them. Imagine when we went there, we're talking, somebody went to that refrigerator, opened it, and then there was yogurt.
Wow. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You know, I've seen worse. I don't have the permission to mention names
of
but
the
I'm
facilities.
sure that those reports are going to come out. Those were one of the first things I think Minister Akando instituted when he took office. So there was a firm, a US-based firm, that collaborated with our health sector and scouted quite a number of hospitals across the country so we can give a proper report and also help digitize the sterilization. Because if it goes through a digital process, just like now we have the GIMS, you know, and there's that data exchange platform as well. If it's able to go through a proper login process, the probability that some of these mistakes will be made, you know, would reduce. So all attempts to just reduce such incidents.
And listen to this. This is what I found. In Ghana, one major documented area is infection after surgery. So this is a research conducted by people at the University of Ghana. A Kolebu Teaching Hospital study found 331 surgical site infections among 3,267 surgical patients. About 10% incidence risk. So patients who got these infections stayed about 9 extra days in hospital, and almost half of the infections were detected after discharge. There's also bloodstream infections. Study across 10 hospitals found that bloodstream infections formed 19.5% of hospital-acquired infections recorded.
Yeah.
And these can happen through contaminated lines, poor injection safety, poor hand hygiene, infected wounds, or invasive devices. Urinary tract infections from catheters also forming part of hospital-acquired infections, especially when insertion, cleaning, or monitoring is not properly done.
Yes.
Respiratory tract infections occur in patients on oxygen support, ventilators, long admissions, or overcrowded wards where infection prevention is weak.
In one hospital, that is where they keep sterilization instruments and materials. You can see them. I mean, you can look at the environment and tell for yourself. Yes. And doctors and nurses, the health workers are helpless before this issue, because sometimes they even have to make do with the chemicals used to sterilize or decontaminate. They have to make do, you know. Imagine that gentleman folding gauze with his bare hands, no gloves, you know. But even his may pass, because after folding, all of those folded packets are going to be sterilized. So his may pass.
And if it's not properly sterilized, it means whatever infection, whatever contamination,
that is the sterilization corner of another facility. And as you can see, look at the things laying around. Because the basic thing is to decongest the area where these things take place so that they don't attract any form of, but We contaminate the things even whilst decontaminating them. We contaminate them more whilst decontaminating them. And we expose our health workers, our mothers and our brothers, our wives and sisters who work in these facilities. Yes, our girlfriends. You know, we expose them to these dangerous working conditions.
Just look at the vaccine containers. Look at how they are looking.
So if you are assigned to that hospital and you get there, can you say you will not pick up your pack and go? You definitely have to pick up your pack, but you are exposed to the risk of contamination, and the person you are going to also deliver the vaccine to is equally exposed.
So we just don't pay attention to the sterilization thing. We just don't. We seem not to care.
Crosby, some of the hospitals we visited, we had the nurses shouting when they assume, you see, things you can see, but when they saw what we were talking about on the magnifying glass, you know, you could hear some of them shouting. Yes, because anyone, and in some places they also thought we were doing the most. They thought we were doing too much. Why are you being finicky? Why are you asking?
Yeah, normal.
You know, yes, it's the standard until they see for themselves. So what I learned from that experience is that a lot of them don't even know the conditions, because every time we visited a facility that was snobbish or dismissive, by the time we were leaving, they had a repented mindset and had appreciated why we were there in the first place and having this conversation in the first place.
That is why it is good that these regulators now say they will go often.
Yes.
And then check. Hopefully they do.
They should expand their scope, not just to the labs, but to CSSD.
Yes. I mean,
units across hospitals.
For other agencies that deal with hospitals, health centers, and all of that.
Good morning to the health minister. If he's hearing us, I mean, this is an initiative he needs to champion hardcore, because there's no excuse for this mediocrity. Because health minister,
a lot of hospitals we have, a lot of health centers, I should say, they do not meet certain standards. We just treat these things as backroom function. We don't see how important they are. Well, because we're also paying attention to no beds, so we don't even look at the problems are plenty. Maybe the health ministry is.
We hope they do something about it. If they don't, I'll be speaking to the organization that did that work and see if we can release that report to Media General. Yes. And then in that report, we would see gory things that, I mean, the nation would never be proud of, and with people responsible as well. So, Health Minister, I know the report is sitting on your desk somewhere. Pay attention to it. Whilst you fix the health, you reset the health industry, this should be a priority, because there should be no excuse for such mediocrity. Our mothers are not safe when they are in labor. Our wives are not safe when they visit your facility. We are not safe when we visit your facilities. And the doctors, the well-meaning doctors and nurses within the health service are not safe either.
3FM Sunrise.
One Ghana, plenty things.
Charlie, I say, my paddy lose in marriage because of this matter.
Oh, Charlie. You go to the hospital there.
You go do lab where they say you get HIV. You go do lab where they say you get HIV.
This be funny.
Yeah.
Where you go another place.
And when she went to another facility, the results were different. So she got the self-testing kit. And I think the self-testing kit was prior to when she went to the second lab. So it convinced her to go to the second lab, and she went to the second. But it had become an issue. And she even went to do the test because her church had recommended that for counseling purposes, it's important that they do these things. You know?
So the results by
yes. And even when the results came and she was exonerated, she was still traumatized.
Yes, you will be.
She had to fly out of the country to convince herself that indeed
she does not have it.
HIV.
Sports news is up next. Rico Ampofo is joining us with the latest in the world of sports. Sunrise continues. Stay with us. This is 3FM. 92.7. We're live also on all our social media platforms at 3FM 927.
Happy Beat.
Yes. We're getting into the World Cup mood as we're just less than a week away from the kickoff for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, the opening game will see South Africa face Mexico, a repeat of the 2010 opener as well. Teams have started reporting to the United States, Mexico, and Canada ahead of the showpiece, and the Black Stars did arrive in Washington in the early hours of Thursday morning following their friendly game in Cardiff against Wales, which ended 1-1, and had their first training session already in America. Now, in view of Ghana's preparations for the tournament, forward Brandon Thomas-Asante says he remains hopeful of the team putting up a strong showing at the world stage.
It was a really good test. Of course, we've got the World Cup to prepare for, so we knew what the agenda was. It's been a week or so where we've been waiting for everyone to get together. Of course, everyone plays for their different clubs, so we're waiting for everyone to be united, and we've had that in the last few days and few weeks, and we've been able to listen to the manager. I mean, there's some extremely talented players, and of course, we're a group who we all care about each other. We're brothers, you know. So whenever you see someone get injured, it's sad, and you want to honour them on the pitch with our opportunity that we've got. And also, we've all been speaking to each other, always dropping each other messages. So strength to them, and we're going to try and do them. Of course, I mean, we've got 2 weeks to prepare for that now. So we're definitely going to be listening to the manager. There's going to be a lot of meetings and, of course, a lot of work to do as well. But today was another step in that direction of getting some competitive minutes. Of course, the main thing was coming out unscathed and being able to play together. Of course, like I said, we've been waiting to be together as a squad. The likes of, Antoine, who came a bit later with his celebrations. So we've all been, we've been waiting for that. But now we're together. We got through today, and we're going to keep on working.
Well, that was Ghana forward Brandon Thomas-Asante. Still on the World Cup, Morocco have also touched down in the United States to begin their World Cup campaign. The Atlas Lions, who were semi-finalists in the last edition of the competition, face Scotland, Haiti and Brazil in Group C. Now, upon arrival in the United States, skipper Ashraf Hakimi says the team is ready to compete.
We are really happy to be here, to be part of this important tournament. We are really excited to to start and to feel the support of the all Moroccan people in America. Of course, we are a little bit tired. It was a long flight, but really happy. Like I said, we are happy to be here. We can't wait to start training and see the atmosphere, like I said, of the Moroccan and all the support in America. So really happy and excited to be here.
Well, that was Morocco right back Ashraf Hakimi speaking there. Let's do some more where we move on to former Ghana captain Stephen Appiah. Now, he has urged the Black Stars to seize the opportunity and make the nation proud at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Appiah, who played a key role in Ghana's historic run into the quarterfinals of the 2010 World Cup, believes that the team carries hopes of not only Ghana but the entire continent. Speaking in an interview with 3 Sports, the ex-Black Stars midfielder called on the players to rise to the occasion and give their all on football's biggest stage.
I will tell them that it's their time, and that's the right moment. The moment has come. They should take it. They shouldn't play with it, because we have seen players who play with it and now they are paying for whatever that happens. And this particular time, I think, with because 2006 there was no social media. So with social media, you have to take advantage of any chance that you get. That's what I'm going to tell them. At first, they have to know that they are playing for African continent. So wearing that shirt, they should know how important is the shirt. And they should fight for everything to achieve something.
Well, that was former Black Stars captain Stephen Appiah speaking. We still stay with the Black Stars because forward Antoine Semenyo has declared that the current Black Stars squad has the quality to shock a lot of nations at the upcoming World Cup. The 26-year-old expressed confidence in the depth and talent within the team, insisting that Ghana can compete with the best if they prove themselves on the pitch.
My mum and dad, they never really mentioned anything about England. Obviously, living in England, you get the conversation of, you should represent England, but it was never a conversation I ever had, really. Ghana came in at, 19, 20, so I was never going to turn it down. It's a dream come true, to be honest. There was a lot of talent in the previous Ghana sides, but I feel like now it's coming in with abundance. There's so many positions that we've got covered. There's so much talent in there. I feel like when we do come together, such a special group and just endless talent, and I feel like we can shock a lot of nations. And we just need to prove to the world that we can be up there and compete with everyone else. I feel like that's the only question right now. So once we do that, that'll be the story, bro.
Well, that was Ghana forward Antoine Semenyo speaking there. Now, with news from the continent, CK Akono has been officially crowned the Kenya Premier League Coach of the Year after a phenomenal debut season. The former Ghana Black Stars captain and coach successfully guided Kenyan powerhouse Gor Mahia to their record-extending 22nd league title. Let's do some women's football now, where Black Queens coach Kim Laswekegren has expressed high optimism as the Black Queens intensifies their training camp during the June FIFA international window. Now, Kim reasserted that Ghana's ultimate ambition is to consistently remain among the top 4 teams on the continent and fight for a World Cup ticket.
Since I came in here, the goal had been the whole time to make sure that Ghana always are a top 4 team. We did it, a top 3 performance in the previous WAFCON. And if you do a top 3 performance, of course, you always want something that is better, and something better is not silver. So, of course, we're going to do everything we can in the upcoming WAFCON to go all the way. But the most important, I will say, is that we keep growing as a group, that we do better and better, because then sooner or later we will be there with the gold medal around us. And I'm looking forward to the future to be a part of this amazing group.
Well, that was Black Queens coach Kim Laswekegren. Now, away from football, let's do some athletics, where sprinter Joseph Poamwa moved up to third on Ghana's all-time 100-meter ranking after running a new personal best time of 9.92 seconds. Now, Amwa lowered his personal best time after winning the 100-meter men's event at the Royal City Inferno in Ontario, Canada. Amwa is in line to represent Ghana at this year's Commonwealth Games. Now, winning the event marked a great bounce back for Amwa, who disappointed in the recently ended Africa Senior Athletics Championships held in Ghana. The veteran sprinter now ranks third on Ghana's list behind Abdul Rashid Saminu, who leads the way with 9.84 seconds, and then Benjamin Azamati with 9.90. We'll be doing tennis shortly, but before that, let's head to England, where Liverpool have appointed former Bournemouth coach Andoni Iraola as their new head coach, and this is what he had to say after his appointment.
Really excited because obviously, you know about Liverpool, you know that is a big club, a massive club, one of the biggest in the world, but feeling inside, and understanding a little bit more of this club. And I always thought it's a special club, not about the football side, also because what people think about even during the week, how they are passionate about the club and everyone, the ones who like football, the ones that probably are not interested. But I have some experience with athletic club that I could in some ways familiarize, but it's gonna be fun to experience it from the inside.
Well, that was new Liverpool coach Andoni Iraola. Before we go, let's do some tennis, where Russian teenager Mira Andreeva has reached her first ever Grand Slam final after producing a commanding display to defeat Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk in the semi-finals of the French Open. The 19-year-old needed just 2 sets to seal a convincing 6-1, 6-3 victory, improving on her semi-final run at Roland Garros a year ago and booking her place in Saturday's championship match. Andreeva would now face Polish qualifier Maja Tralinska in the final. Well, that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on Sunrise. My name is Ore Kwampofo, and Sunrise continues right after this break.
Let's go to the market. We have to buy everything for you before you go to SHS.
Mommy, please, all that stress, going around the market and carrying heavy things. My friends will see me sweating like this. They have already registered for their EduPack. I don't want to be left out.
Registered for EduPack?
Yes, EduPack, a Ghana Education Service approved and supported initiative for all first years going to SHS by Prospectus Ghana Limited. Now you don't need to go to the market. All the trunk, mattress, pillow, and plastic chop box are already waiting for your child at school.
Daddy, so what do we do?
We shall register you by dialing *713*821#, following the prompts. Or you can visit www.edupackgh.com and tap register. You can also register at any ADB branch near you at a very affordable price. EduPack, approved and supported by GES.
Protect yourself from germs and bacteria with confidence. Cleanse hand soap effectively kills 99.9% of germs with every use. Perfect for all your hand washing moments throughout the day. Available in a variety of variants and delightful flavors. Choose Cleanse for yourself, your family, and friends. Make Cleanse your daily essential. The GC brand. It's all about you. This advert is FDA approved.
Let's clean soap, clean.
This
this year as Peduasi Valley Resort marks its 10th anniversary. Join us on Father's Day to commemorate a decade of hospitality by honoring a true icon of leadership and fatherhood. Ghana's Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra, at an exclusive luncheon at Sycamore Hall on 21st June 2026 from 12:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Enjoy live band performances, special gifts from our sponsors, and listen to a keynote address by the Chief of Staff on balancing career, family, and legacy. For a more casual atmosphere, our Baobab restaurant will host lunch and dinner buffet with live band music. Treat Dad to the ultimate gift of relaxation with our special room and spa promotions available throughout the weekend. For reservations and inquiries, please call 0540-125-555. Peduasi Valley Resort. Live life.
3FM Sunrise.
Sunrise on 3FM.
3FM Sunrise.
Rise on 3FM 92.7. Attention to all parents or first-year SHS boarding students. This call is coming to you from EduPack, the Ghana Education Service approved and supported national SHS initiative implemented by Prospectus Ghana. It is now in progress across Ghana, and parents across the country are already registering so that their children's trunk, their children's Macintosh mattress and pillow, as well as plastic chop box, will be ready and waiting at their school before reporting day.
Can't you see that I need you cry? I said, ooh, for the lonely
Do not delay and be caught in the usual last-minute market rush, carrying heavy items under pressure. Because with EduPack, your child does not need to travel to school with these 4 essential items. To register, simply dial *713 *821 hash. Visit any ADB branch or go to www.edupackgh.com. Make payments, keep your receipt, and present it on opening day to collect all your child's EduPack items. Your EduPack registration follows you to any SHS you place. Avoid the stress, avoid the rush, prepare with confidence, all at very affordable price. EduPark approved and supported by the GES. For more information, call 050-700-752 or 050-864-4802. Alternatively, you could call 0302 Mono and Meridian Gardens in Klagon for your next home. Experience comfort, experience style and value backed by a trusted institution. Units are selling hot. Call 0244-593-276, 0244-593-276, or visit Snit Sales Office at the 6th floor, Rich Tower, for further enquiries. This morning for our big conversations, we will be joined by three gentlemen: Solomon Owusu, the Director of Communications of the United Party; Emmanuel Koting, Executive Director, Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism; and Dr. Thomas Anaba, he is the Member of Parliament for Garu. This is Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We'll start with a rather interesting conversation this morning. The papers have captured it in a very interesting way. A topic that sounds funny at first, but sometimes it becomes very serious the moment you think about it properly. Before we get into that, Mr. Osu, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to be here, Crosby. It's been a long time. Where have you been hiding yourself?
Very long. Since your goodies came, you have not remembered that.
If I make goodies, I'll go on pension, as a matter of fact, because I'm tired, you know.
You want to retire early.
Someone has just sung a song who says that if you like, try and rest. You see how you'll be hungry. So you can't rest. But if you want to go hungry, then you rest.
If you are not in the capacity to rest, don't rest.
Absolutely. So we can't complain. We have to fight.
You rest, poor rest.
Yes.
You'll see something. Dr. Anaba, good morning. Good to see you, Doc.
Good morning to you, and good morning to your cherished listeners and viewers. And thanks for having us.
I saw you in Parliament. You've been in Parliament for the Family Values Conference. How's it going?
In fact, I passed by, but I didn't stay long. Okay. Yes, but I'm happy at least it's taking place in Ghana, that we have passed the human sexual rights and family values bill. At least it comes to confirm that we are not only talking, but we are walking the talk. So I'm very happy, and the speaker is well known for at least his fight for family values.
I can imagine the comment Mr. Koting is making right now. The comment Mr. Koting is making right now. You say that a bill that has been passed, but Speaker says come and reconsider it.
No, we have a process of passing the bill.
Yes.
So if Speaker, there's a novelty now by the Speaker, we have to see how it rolls out. But to some of us, if actually we are able to prove that numbers were not there for a quorum and that we skipped a process, then we would have to really look at it and accept that we committed an error. So Speaker has challenged us. We respect him. And then we also respect our leadership and then the one who sat in the chair for him. So as for that, I am a member. They are the leaders, and I believe my leaders are on the right track. We needed to pass a bill, and we passed the bill.
We'll see where we'll go from here.
If Speaker is not happy, then Speaker would maybe bring the process that he thinks we violated, and if he's able to make his case and the whole plenary accept that we have erred, then we go with Speaker.
But if the plenary does not agree, then what happens?
If the plenary doesn't give praise, we don't go by somebody's decision. We go by our standing orders.
Right.
In Parliament, we run by our standing orders. What the standing, we've not violated the standing orders and the Constitution. That is it.
But the president is also concerned about the processes it went through to be passed.
The president did very well by not just jumping into action to say anything, but to say, when I go, I'll look at the process that led to it coming to me. Because to say that when you bring the bill, I'll sign, doesn't mean that when you bring the bill, immediately you put it on my table, I'll sign. The signing has a process. It has a process. He has to look at it. His lawyers would have to advise him. Constitutional lawyers would have to look at it and then tell him, oh, it is good. Go ahead and sign. Oh, there's this clause here. Irrespective of what Parliament did, there's this clause here. We think that you may have to modify it and send it back to Parliament for them to relook at it, reconsider it. Kufuor did the same thing with is it the local government bill or something like that? So if it comes to the president and he thinks that it is fine, he will sign. But to say that if the moment they put it on his table, he should sign. What about if somebody on the way, the clerk makes a mistake and change a word there? And change a word in the bill that they've sent to the president. Just one word can destroy the whole.
The Talama says the clerk makes a mistake.
Sakuma, it is so sweet. Listen to the beat. Get on your feet. Oh, take a step.
Conversation with a topic like we mentioned that sounds funny at first, but sometimes it becomes serious the moment you think about it properly. Social media, it has already given it a name, a certain name. They say that no Ghana card, no pono. But behind the jokes is a real policy conversation. The Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel George, says government is considering a proposal that would require people to verify their age with a Ghana card before accessing adult website. We will take a listen to some George shortly. Now, on one side, the concern is understandable. Many parents are worried about children getting exposed to adult content way too early.
And get on your feet.
But on the other side, people are asking very fair questions. Who keeps the data? How private is it? Can it even work? And is it the best way to protect children online? So this morning, we'll take the humor away small and deal with the real issues. First, Codjoe has some interesting facts for us. After the facts, we'll listen to Sam George and then we'll pick the thoughts of the gentleman we have in the studio. You have simple hard facts. Ghana or national IDs for adult websites. That's the conversation. Tell us, what are we looking at?
We cannot have this conversation without looking at some. We can't have the conversation without looking at some data concerning the Ghana card registration, digital rights, data privacy, surveillance, and things like that. So just so that we give it a bit of context, it's important to understand that internet users as of 2025, that's 2025.
Last year?
Yes. Was 26.3 million people. And the internet penetration pegged at 74.6%. And mobile connections alone also surged to 41.8 million. Then we have the mobile connection rate. That's 119% of the population. We also have some social media identities, the profiles.
Right.
We see on social media. That's 8.59 million. And for social media penetration, that's 24.4% of our population. Now, if we look at the Ghanaians enrolled on Ghana card, we are looking at 19,564,512. And as of April 2026, that is just some few months ago, maybe two, Ghana cards printed, that's 19.37. As of April, Ghana cards issued is 18.774 million. So there is a lax reconciliation, printed and issued. Those numbers.
There are differences there.
Yes. And then non-citizens enrolled also, that's 230,267 plus. Now we look at the child online protection framework, which was launched on the 18th of October 2024.
Right.
Under the former President Kufuor Bawumia government. And then we look at the Cybersecurity Authority, Child Online Safety Work, which has been ongoing since 2018.
Right.
And then senior high school girls blackmailed for money. That is 35%.
Of SHS girls we have in the country.
Yes, senior high school girls who have been blackmailed for money at 35%.
Okay, usually what age range are we looking at in the senior high schools?
For the senior high schools, we're usually looking at between 13 and 18.
Okay.
Average. And then if we look at senior high schools blackmailed for sex, that's 18%. We look at the Data Protection Act, Act 843, 2012. We look at the Cybersecurity Act as well, the Act 1038. That's the 2020.
Yeah.
And then we looked at the proposed breach notification, which is enshrined in the Data Protection Bill 2025, the 72 hours. Now, the forensic risk. Ghana card upload equals identity linked to adult content. And I think that has been one of the major concerns.
Right.
And then there's also the privacy threat.
Yeah.
That data retention can create sexual browsing records that can be exploited by unscrupulous persons, especially in this day and age. And the best policy formula, verify age, do not expose identity.
So find a way and verify the age.
Yes.
To protect the children.
Yes.
But while you do that, do not expose identity.
Yes. With the verify age, I think in some jurisdictions there has been practiced where there's an age verifier, you click on it and it confirms your age. But who knows if there's a 6-year-old child sitting behind a computer or holding his mother's phone and chances upon a website like that and can read, because at 6 I could read and can read, and it says verify age and he verifies the age. That platform has no way of authenticating whether that child is 18 years and above. So that has been a concern. So the ledger verdict basically is that Ghana has a real child online safety problem. However, forcing citizens to submit Ghana cards directly to adult websites creates significant privacy surveillance, blackmail, and data protection risks. And the safer approach is age verification without identity exposure.
Right.
Yes. Then we look at the hard facts when it comes to Ghana and some of the sites that are usually visited, the typical user behavior. You know, when you want to regulate a behavior, you need to understand the stats. And here's a case where we're saying Ghana cards, but how many people even have the Ghana cards readily available? Is it convenient for them? Is it convenient for them to access it? You know, so in the case where we even have those verifications, can they conveniently verify? So we look at the most visited adult sites in Ghana. For the purposes of our listeners, maybe some may be underage, especially at this time during the rains. So I wouldn't mention the names, but at number 1, we have 927,400 visits, ranking number 1. We'll peg it at X. And for number 2, ranking 575,250 visits for the month of March alone.
Oh, so this is for the month?
Yes, for the month of March 2026 alone. And you'd realize that some of these sites receive more visitors than the presidency website. They receive more sites than whistleblower websites. So for 2, yes. So for 2, pegged at 575,250, we'll peg that as P. And then for 3, pegged at 480,430 visits in the month of March, we'll call that X2.
Okay.
So the total visits for the month of March alone Visits, not unique users. Visits, not unique users. That's 1.9 million, thereabout.
Close to 2 million.
Yes, just a little bit close to 2 million. So we look at the child exposure in Ghana. That's the serious part.
Yes.
37.7% of Ghanaian children are exposed to pornography. And on 18th October 2024, the Cybersecurity Authority Child Online Protection Framework launched. And since 2018, they have worked online on child sexual exploitation. The demographics are global. I looked at it from a global perspective, and I think that the largest pornography age group, sits about 18 to 24 years old, about 27% of the traffic. And average porn user age is 38 years. And porn female audience globally is 38%. So the men are leading in the ranks. For device and access patterns in Ghana, we have 96.7% of adult site visits on mobile devices, and 94.3% of traffic comes via mobile internet as well, and 7.5 average minutes per visit. The privacy risk concern is that pornography sites usually leak data. 93% of porn sites leak user data. 79% have third-party trackers and cookies that monitor your online behavior and are able to sell you products. And 17% have readable privacy policies. 17%. And 7 third-party domains receiving user data average per site. And this is as of 2019. And then we look at the VPN surge after age checks. So in UK, there were similar concerns like Honorable Sam George is raising, very legitimate concerns that shouldn't be taken for granted, because there's a joke behind it that makes people take it for granted, but he's raising serious concerns. But in UK, when they try to apply same measure, as he did not just say, Sam George did not just say, but recommended, when they try to apply same, there was a surge in the use of VPNs to bypass some of these, and that was a 1,800% surge.
Alternatives.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you are denying them of what makes them smile every day. So there was a surge of 1,800% increase in UK daily sign-ups after age verification rules. And UK traffic dropped after age checks. Some of the sites received very significant drop after the age checks were enforced.
Right.
Now, let's look at the Legal and Policy Foundation. Like I mentioned earlier, there's the Data Protection Act 2012, Act 843, and there's the Cybersecurity Act 2020, Act 1038. There's the Data Protection Commission, and then there's the Data Protection Bill 2025, which proposes breach notification within 72 hours. So the privacy danger here is Ghana Card Upload links legal adult content to real identity. Biometric ID exposes highly sensitive national identity infrastructure. Data retention creates possible records of sexual browsing. Platform leaks, as adult websites historically leak data to third parties. Political abuse. A future regime could weaponize private browsing data. And blackmail as well. Adult site identity leaks could destroy careers, marriages, and reputation. The larger verdict, Ghana has a real child online safety problem, but forcing citizens to submit Ghana cards directly to adult websites is lazy and a dangerous solution. The correct Ghanaian policy is verify age, do not expose identity. Protect children, do not build a porn access registry.
Okay, thank you.
I think those are a point on the
Thank you so much. I think you've laid good foundation. You've set the conversation nicely, set the tone nicely. Codjoe, thank you so much. You come back and then we'll talk some more. But Mr. Emmanuel Coating is joining us, and when he comes, I'd like to say good morning to him and welcome him to the studio. Mr. Coating, it's good to see you. Welcome. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you so much. A very good morning.
Right.
To my partner in crime. I've not seen Solo for about a month now.
I was saying
Solo had made money and Solo is running away from all his friends. You can even see his appearance that there's a signature written on the face.
You know what? I see your eyes drinking like that. But it's good.
A very good morning to my senior brother as always. Our cherished listeners and the hard-working team behind what we do. In fact, I heard my brother when I was coming eulogizing the speaker. What are you talking about, senior?
It's okay.
What are you really talking about? Back way. Look, you see, when you are in opposition, you were so very hard. You understand? Look at how Bagbin took the deputy speaker to the cleaners. It's very unacceptable. The bill is passed. Let the president sign it, and he must sign it. That's all.
We'll deal with that later.
Let's move on.
We'll deal with that later. Gentlemen, let me start with this one. That government says the idea is to protect children from early exposure to adult content. But the moment you bring Ghana card, driver's license, and identity verification, people start asking about privacy, data safety, and whether this can actually work. And just like Codjoe has laid clearly for us. And Mr. Osu, I'd like to start this with you. This is one of those issues where the policy may have serious intention, good intention, but the public headline has become funny very quickly. If government or any political actor wants people to take this serious, how should it be explained?
Well, thank you very much. I think pornography and so on and so forth has been with us for a very long time. But the situation has aggravated in recent years. And so if you are a government, you must take steps to deal with it. But I believe that the route that we want to go through is not the best. If it must be done, it must be done well. Why must you legalize it for even adults? Anybody that has been visiting the UAE and then those Arab nations, they know that there is no access either for kids or for adults. Simplicity. Because even the adults that watches it, they abuse it. You remember in 2022, a whole parliamentarian in the British Parliament, in the UK Parliament, at the time that they were debating serious matters, Neil Parish was busily watching porn. And it is not only restricted to the UK Parliament. It's just that even in our Ghana Parliament, cameras have not caught them. But I can tell you that when serious matters are being discussed, some people busy themselves watching porn.
Mr. Osu, you don't know that.
So Neil Parish in 2022 in the UK Parliament, and not just Neil Parish.
My brother.
Not just Neil Parish. You see, in the Serbian Parliament, there was this Stevish in 2023, when Serbia was discussing a very serious matter at their trade relationship with Kosovo. Stevish was watching porn. So, under that circumstance, what sort of decision do you think would arrive in that parliament? And not just that alone. Indonesia, that is supposed to be an Islamic country. Arifinto, MPO, Arifinto, against all odds, he was also busily watching pornography during working hours. You go to Brazil, that was as recent as 2024. So João Rodrigo, you remember that incident? Yeah. They were debating and he was watching porn. So the point I'm trying to make here is that it is not only detrimental to the children, but also the adults are abusing it. Remember, these incidents of rape, how many of the kids do engage in rapes? Adults go and watch porn, and then out of that ecstasy, they extend it to the young ones. So I believe that even the people that must be barred from watching porn must be the adults, because they are abusing it uncontrollably. But you see,
I hope Solomon doesn't watch porn.
I don't watch porn.
Are you sure, Solomon?
Mr. Kuti, let's stay on track.
Oh, but so you watch porn, eh? Is that what you are telling me? No, but Kuti must explain that aspect very well.
So let's stay on track.
Because this is very serious. I know my sister is listening to us. Very, very important.
So let's stay on track.
Crosby. So that is the first point. Number two. Now, pornography has extended beyond the official websites that are designated for porns. What do we see on our TikTok? If you like, you be scrolling through TikTok.
Social media.
X. I mean, it has become Twitter. Go there. TikTok, Twitter, and even Facebook openly.
Oh, really?
So if you say you are going to ban those official websites, would you extend it to the social media platforms?
That's an interesting question.
You understand? Yeah. Because it is there, right? If you like, go, just be scrolling, you will see it. Instagram is even worse, I'm telling you.
Which means you have been watching.
No, but I am a social person.
So I've been verified.
Who is verified? I'm only giving you information. How did
indeed, if you don't watch,
how did Codjoe come by all these data?
Cotin's microphone is off. Don't
you understand? So we are building a point.
Right.
So if we want to do it, we must do it well. I'm only identifying areas that will still not make the law effective.
That's our openings.
That's our openings. Now beyond that, you forget about the social media platforms and then the websites and so on and so on. What about our physical being, our daily lives? Porn is everywhere on the streets.
No, how do you mean porn is?
Hey, no, it is only the act. Seeing man and woman engage in the act, seduction. No, now I'm even surprised that in Accra, we are not experiencing a lot of accidents on the roads. Men's position in society today is so difficult that it takes people that are living by grace to survive, such as me. You are on the roadside, my brother, and you see it. They're dressing alone, my goodness. Some of our ladies, for Christ's sake, they don't wear pants.
Mr. Wusu.
No. You don't want to face reality.
So we can talk about it nicely.
Which one is the nice? If I don't say it, how would the children know it? How would we explain? We are communicating. People must understand what I'm saying.
You can say most of them dress indecently.
No, how would I?
That will include.
I think that is better.
The children will not understand.
But we're not talking to children.
No. Crosby, if I say, if I say they are not dressing indecently, what would be your definition of indecent dressing? So if I don't go straight to the point and explain it to the point that, look, some of them are not wearing pants, how would they understand it?
No wearing pants, it's covered.
How?
Another thing, is it compulsory to wear pants? No, it's a question. Is it compulsory?
No.
You can wear something once it's covering you.
Gentlemen,
and beyond that, doc, this is the better part.
Let's stay on track.
Then they wear transparent attire.
So it all talks about the indecency.
So I am telling you that the problem of the day is not the children.
Right.
The problem of the day in this country is the adults. So if we have to even have a law that will bar anybody from pornography and stuff, we must start from the way and manner we even dress into public functions. You have been watching VGME. Music, what?
Yeah.
There was. What sort of dressing do they take there? Weekends in Accra, people organize parties here and there, and people see it, but they don't want to confront it. Go to our various university campuses. I wish one day the lecturers will come here. The sort of ordeal that students, especially the ladies, walk the lecturers through. Some of them go to lecture halls, and I can't explain it on radio.
It's good. We like it like that.
But I would have loved to explain it because we are educating, but you want to gag me at this stage.
We're not gagging. We're just asking.
They have gagged me, so I'll go by them. You see, sometimes
we're just asking.
This my mouth. When you introduce me to this topic, my mouth. So what I'm saying is that it has to start from the moral fiber of our society. We used not to be like this.
So how did we get here must be our concern. The young ones, they pick attitudes from the elderly, from the adults. If you are a parent in the house and your kids, and I'm sure it happens to everyone, you will be in the house, you'll come for your phone. Can you imagine your daughter or son picking your phone, going through and seeing a lot of pornographic items? What sort of education are you giving to that young one? So for me, it is the adults that you must target.
The children only learn from
They learn from the adults.
I think you've made very good points.
And once we are able to deal with that, but I'm telling you, we will make a headway.
Particularly the social media part, because specifically, if you listen to what Sam George said, it seeks to convey the message that it is targeting particular sites.
No.
Regular adult sites,
which is wrong,
but it translates beyond,
absolutely.
It transcends beyond those sites.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Coating, this is where I would invite you in. If government wants to do this, and on the practical side, children and young people, they are often ahead of adults online. The technology favors children more than it may favor adults. So if access is blocked in one place, is there not the possibility that these children will find another route somewhere? So my question then would be that can a policy like this work without becoming a game of chasing the internet?
In fact, the bitter truth is that the intentions are right, and we seem to be copying what we cannot protect. Even the countries that have institutionalized some of these things have admitted leaks. Even if you look at the UK, they have fined Playboy, if you recall.
Yes.
And they're even investigating several porn sites over these things. Like you mentioned, children are far, far ahead of us in terms of technology. Sometimes we even I learn from my children. My son is doing computer engineering. Sometimes he teaches me some of the things to make my work easier communicating. You understand? The bitter truth, like I mentioned, is that these children can easily overcome some of this restriction through a VPN. And 30 seconds.
That's what Codjoe mentioned.
Yes, VPN.
Yeah.
So I think that as a country, we have to think through policies even before we announce them. We have very, very serious matters in this country we need to be looking at than veering into areas we cannot even control. We can't even control our space. To talk about putting limitations on how we perform our duties as adults in our private spaces, I think we've not reached there yet. You see, database once built, it at least the intentions of the builder.
Right.
So you can't tie Ghana card, okay, the digital identity of every Ghanaian to the private things we do online. I think at this time, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have even the technology to be able to police that. UK, they're so advanced. Australia, and even in America, they have admitted leaks. They have not been able to do that. And what we don't understand is that every software, every computer system we use is a human being that builds that.
Right.
And the human being is that human being that has the master key. And you can easily, and they go to the dark world and sell those keys for a high amount of money. And they use it for all manners of things. Let's even look at our database. Do we even have a database as a country? No. The National Identification Program, we spend millions of taxpayers' money to build. Does it exist? It doesn't exist. I'll give you this example. And I will mention the telcos because of marketing purposes. I forgot the PIN of my Momo. I used for one of my businesses, and I went to get it reset. They told me to go and bring my registration document my Form A and what have you. And I asked, when I came to register this SIM, you took these documentations. What was the purpose of taking those documentations? Obviously to build a database, you understand? You took my fingerprints, which is unique to me. It means that you want to make my work easier so that my next visit, I don't need to carry all these documentations. To my shop, I was even asked to hold my Ghana card against the document so that they take me a picture. And I resisted that this is more than slavery. You know me. And I even made someone take a video of it. It's just that for certain reasons, I don't want to put these things out. But I'll take the issue up with that telco. It's very unacceptable. And they told me that they didn't have that database they took. They told me, frankly.
Yeah. So why did they
So
take it
if
in
we
the
are
first
building a surveillance database of Ghanaian adults, of what they do privately online, are we sure we can even keep this database when what we spend millions of dollars on, we've not been able to even keep that? So it looks as if, my good brother Sam George, there's no work at the ministry. If indeed there's serious work at the ministry, at this time that we find ourselves as a country, I don't think this should be policy options this government should be pushing. Go to social media and see. The comments are not favorable. Some are calling him a lot of names. Go to social media. And if Sam George wants his government to go to opposition, he should push it.
Because of
and like my good brother mentioned, we have pornography on our streets. We have not even been able to regularize social media. And we are talking about restrictions. Go to our universities, like you mentioned. It takes, by the grace of God, drivers don't... Look, most of the accidents sometimes we get on the road. If you want to look at it carefully, it's part of some of these things. And I support him on that. I support him on that. Most of the accidents, sincerely.
Oh, goodness.
And you know why? God is a magical creator. The ones that are coming now, in fact, sometimes if you okay. Don't focus well,
it's okay.
So this is a serious matter.
Right,
we shouldn't even joke with it. I think that it's not popular. And many people may ask that, oh, Emmanuel, are you soft on pornography, or is it that you watch pornography? No. It's one of the dangerous sentences to make in governance. Privacy is not about hiding. Privacy is about power. What is the guarantee that you can trust successive government with this kind of database, surveillance database, in the next 50, 100 years?
It will not be abused.
And these things will not be used against opponents. And especially you journalists who are critical of government, you come and sit here and put the bite on like my good friend Johnny used to bite, and they say, okay, this is what Johnny has been doing, or this is what you have been doing, or this is what Emmanuel Cotin has been doing.
I think you're making...
sometimes it's not enough fault of ours, like social media, you are saying. You just be scrolling and to pop up.
What would you do?
Because we don't even have the safety guards to patrol our internet as a country.
Right.
So otherwise, these things will not be popping up when you are serving the internet. So we have a long way to go. This is not one of the policies as a country at this time we should even be talking about.
Dr. Naba, you are a lawmaker. I think there is a consensus that the idea may be good to protect children. That's the idea. But the way the minister wants to go about it, the implementation process or strategy is where the problems are. Also, there are various other ways where what you want to prevent will be introduced. So for the ministry and for government, based on the idea, how will Parliament, or how should they go about it to still get that same objective?
Yeah, thank you. I will not be talking for government now, and I will not be talking for Parliament now, because there's nothing before us now.
Right.
Regarding that. It's an idea that he has brought to the public. I think
he says before cabinet.
Oh, it's before cabinet. Okay, yes, but cabinet hasn't come out whether they approved it or not.
So it's before your government.
Right.
You should speak to that.
Okay, right. I'll speak to it.
Yes, sir.
Right. For now, he has said it's before cabinet. Cabinet hasn't come out to tell us that they have a document like that from the minister. In Parliament, we have not received a copy from Parliament that cabinet that they have received this and they are pushing it for us to pass it as a law. So for me, I will take it as a hearsay for now.
Okay.
But let me ask this question.
The Electoral Commission has reiterated
prevent from watching pornography.
So the target is children.
Children.
Yes.
How many children between the ages of 13 and 18 can work to buy a phone to watch pornography?
I don't think that's a high number.
That's not a high number.
I don't
Virtually, they are not there.
Yes.
If any child under this age is working and can buy a phone on his own, he's doing child labor.
Yes.
The laws does not permit that child to work and also have a phone to watch pornography.
But maybe there are families that would give their children phones and all of that.
This is where I'm coming at. This is we, the elders.
Yeah.
We are the
Parents.
ones who buy the cell phone for the children. We buy them the bundle. Have internet in our houses, Wi-Fi for the children to watch. If you say we should use our ID cards before we are able to access certain platforms, Solo has just given examples of platforms that you don't need
ID cards.
You don't need ID cards. Even if my parents have an ID card, I can decide to screenshot my father's ID card. Tomorrow he's somewhere and I'm watching what I want to watch. The problem about this is our society. How we can bring up our children. And some of the children, like they're saying, are very smart. That they can do anything at all because they understand the technology more than us. So to me, this idea that he's bringing is going to be very difficult to implement. Pornography is not something that holistically bad. I'm talking as a medical doctor. There are sides sometimes you encourage men or women with challenges to watch, to try to use this to induce themselves in their bedrooms to get erection. Most of our men with high blood pressures, most of our men with high blood pressure, they take some BP drugs and they say their thing is not functioning. They don't want to take it. Sometimes we advise them.
So look, the doctors advise
free
them
medical
you can advise a patient to try to watch it to see whether to stimulate him.
I see.
Yes, because it stimulates. Who doesn't it stimulate? We just heard it here. Some drivers are not getting accidents just because they are lucky. Because they even watch a woman walking on the street indecently dressed.
Solo drives, and Mr. Kwesi, you also drive, okay?
Yes.
What we see on the road.
So
it's not easy.
The fact is, look, that is somebody's private life. We have been able to pass a law that bans the type of sexual activity we don't want. If we really want to protect our children from watching this, we first of all have to have family values. Train our children on family values. Exactly. Train our children on what not to do. Let our children look. The phone when you are buying it for your child, I can say the whole of Ghana. Let's agree that if you are buying a phone abroad, they will key all your data into it. So even those abroad, the government can track who is watching porno. I'm telling you, I want to let Ghanaians understand that what we are fighting against can even work. They can use your phone ID, to know what you have watched. I mean, security aspect.
They already
know.
They already know.
So why do you want us now to give our ID cards? So the phone ID alone is enough to track who is using it. The only thing we need to do in Ghana is that anytime you buy a phone, they can key your details against the phone ID, so that when you even lose it, they can use it to track it, to get it for you.
Even the phones are tied with an IP address.
Yes.
Which is unique to you.
IMEMI.
And then the chip you buy from the telcos is tied to your ID card. So I think that it is, we are replicating, we are doing double work. So if government really wants, if Sam George really wants to stop children from watching porno. Yes, he likes going to the pulpit and he preaches a lot. Let's preach family values to Ghanaians. So that Ghanaians will not allow their children to go onto it. Because as you said, if I have a phone and my child comes to pick it because he wants to do his assignment and goes to open and these promoters push into a pornography in his face because he was working some maths on it and they push a pornography onto the screen for him, he will definitely watch. But it is my phone. And if he gets interested in it, he would like to continue watching. So I think that we should regulate how pornography is being transmitted in the country. I think the government can regulate it and allow, let me say, the platforms that produce it have their control them and use, let me say, education in the general public. Because you can't stop somebody who wants to watch a pornography to feel fine. After a hard day's job. I'm a doctor.
I understand.
After a hard day's job, he wants to relax.
Yes.
And he's watching it with his wife. They are adults. They are above 18 years.
Yes.
All the university students we are talking about, they are above 18 years. They want to relax and feel fine. That one, me, I won't obstruct.
But they will not do it with their wives.
Homosexuality and those things, that one, I'll come and against them.
Fact,
but to watch pornography
has brought a very good perspective. We should
from a medical perspective.
Some judge should really look at it and then understand that we may be passing a law that we really cannot control. I watch news a lot. I watch international news a lot. You are watching CNN sometimes. I'm telling you. And the pornography will pop up.
Yes.
They'll start with animals.
Yes.
By the time you see, they change it to human beings. And then the rest. I have to go off sometimes. You are on X, like they are saying. I read X a lot to look at international news, especially what is happening in Palestine and what is happening in Iran. And suddenly you see, especially after 8 o'clock, you see some promotions coming on. It is not my fault. So if you catch me in Parliament, I'm watching news and that thing pop, and you say I'm watching authority, right?
Everything under the communication ministry.
You see what happens after 12 midnight on some of the channels? Have we been able to control that?
They've not been successful.
I think so. Some time ago, we had a discussion on this decks, and we call on the National Communication Authority to intervene and make sure such acts do not become a norm on our TV stations. You get on TV stations and after 12, what they do is more than live pornography. Then we are not able to control this. And we are talking about the realm we have no jurisdictional control over. Our internet, who controls our internet? Do we even have control over it? No.
These things will be popping all the time.
And as Africans, our database, who controls it? We don't even have an idea. So, like you mentioned, we should look at how we can use our family value system to bring our children up, educate them, than going on this hard way of putting surveillance on adults who wants to do their private things online.
And Mr. Osu, I'll come to you for your final words on this subject, so we move to other conversations. Clearly, this does not seem to be only a technical conversation. There's a bit about parenting and then a general social problem. Responsibility is also included. So how then should the communications ministry, with all the good intentions it has, plus the realities on the ground, the various openings that people can use to still access these things or through no fault of theirs experience these things, how does the ministry deal with all these avenues?
So the ministry must go, but they must work closely with the Ministry of the Culture and the local government. For us to begin the process of renewing the minds of parents, adults in this country. We were not like this. Now, the sort of dressings that are going out is un-Ghanaian. The sort of attitudes, the sort of things that parents allow their children to engage themselves in, and it's un-Ghanaian. So let's go back to the basics and begin to reform ourselves. Once adults get it right, it will impact on them. We are speaking this way because our parents impacted some levels of lifestyle onto us. So why must we do differently? We must also impact onto our kids. But to allow the children, what I'm realizing is that today we give the kids too much freedom.
Right.
I think it was on this platform that I told you that Any school that I've sent my kids to, the first thing I do is that I go and negotiate privately with the teachers that, look, I know this school because the proprietor is taking so much money, they don't want to beat any child. So that the child will go and complain, and the lazy parents will go and take them and they will lose revenue. Me, my children, when they misbehave, beat them. That's the negotiation I do. Because I can't agree that you send a child to school and you say that child must not be corrected. No way. So we have to start from there. And once we get it right, because the moral fiber of the adults are, I mean, most of them, you can't tell me that they are behaving properly of late. When we do that, then we can then revisit this issue of internet. But for now, it is the adults that are rather the culprits. They are the ones watching the pornography. And I just gave you examples. You hardly see the young ones going about what we are watching to go and do what? My daughter who is under age, 15 years, you are going to watch porn to go and do it because you are under my care. If you watch and you are feeling something, you are still in the house. So it's cost 90. Because I will not allow you to go anywhere. You understand? But the adults, these tabs they have been taking, what's the name of it?
Red.
Tramadol and so. It's as a result of watching porn. When they watch the porn, then they become honey. They say honey. This is adult educational.
See, there's one thing that I'm surprised in this country. We are a very religious country. 75% of them are religious.
It's a charade.
Now we are more secular.
75% of us are religious. Muslim, Christians, paganism. Pagans abhor pornography. Christians abhor pornography. Muslims abhor pornography. But yet,
you see the data.
2 million people, 2 million people in 1 month.
You are so hypocrite. It's a charade.
They don't even watch government agency sites to see what government is doing.
What is there?
And we have all these beautiful women dressed on the streets. Why?
Now the sort of dresses. Today is Friday.
Yes.
Crosby, you have given you an assignment. You go to town.
I'll close and go home.
My goodness, don't go.
So I think our religiousness in Ghana is it? I don't know. I don't want to use the word fake.
It's fake. It's fake.
Okay. If you say
no, it's not. That is fake.
Because I don't understand why we're too religious. We are watching pornography. We are corrupt. We are indisciplined. I don't know what the religious education is doing to us.
We are church goers.
Absolutely.
We are church goers. We are not religious.
So I think
we go to showcase our dresses.
Yes.
It's a social event.
It's a social gathering. It's no more a religious.
Right.
No.
The bottom line is the idea is good, but implement it well. Look at other areas as well. And we may not be at where you're talking about yet. A lot of the people may not directly visit the sites. They'll just be using social media and then they'll be seeing these things. Gentlemen, I think you've made very good submissions on this point. Solo tried to do something, but it's okay. Conversations this morning. We'll take a few minutes and talk about the latest concerning Chairman Wontumi. But we'll do that after the break. And after that conversation as well,
it is so sweet.
Still very interesting subjects to talk about this morning on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Noble Crosby, and Emmanuel Coating is here with me. Dr. Naba is still here with me, as well as Solomon O. So stay with us here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
In an era where
7. Now let's turn our attention to the latest on Chairman Wontumi and the Akunta mining case. This is not about bail anymore. It's not about whether he has been arrested or released, okay? That part of the conversation has moved on. The matter is now before the court and has reached a very important stage. The court has set July 3 to deliver judgment, and the case centers on allegations that Chairman Wontumi and Akunta Mining allowed mining activities on the company's concession without required approval from the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Is certainly for the court to do, but the latest is that Akunta Mining Samrabo trial involving Chairman Wontumi has ended, and like you know, judgment is set for July 3. So this morning, our conversation is about what this case tells us about illegal mining, what it tells us about political accountability, due process, and public trust in the fight against Galamsey. Solomon also is still here with me. Dr. Naba is here with me, as well as Mr. Emmanuel Coating. And this one too, I'll start with you, Mr. Wusu. If we're bringing this home, the court has not delivered judgment, that we know. But even before judgment, public opinion is already forming on the matter. How careful should communicators be when this matter is still live before the court, bearing in mind the interest that it generates as well?
Well, I think, like you rightly stated, we are not here to pass judgment on the matter. That is for the judge who is paid by the state to do. Unfortunately, the judge has listened to both sides. That is the state, or the Attorney General, and Wontumi. That's the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty of the rule of law, where you allow each party to make its case. At the end of the day, it is justice that must be done. But really, it's good for this country that when the state feels strongly about a certain issue, it uses the appropriate institution to deal with it. We are not in a kangaroo state where you can just get up and then go and bundle people behind bars. They must go through the true course of justice. Let me also commend the AG's office for the first time that I just checked the time that the case went to court. That was on the 6th of October 2025. And today is on the 5th of June. So barely 7 months. It must be a record that they have been able to prosecute this matter awaiting or pending final judgment. That is what we encourage every Attorney General, for that matter, any government that comes to office to do. That this sort of venture gives some levels of confidence, hope to the Ghanaians that if you have the right set of people in governance or managing the affairs of government, then people that are perceived to have done things that are wrong will be dealt with according to the law. So to that extent, I am very happy with it. In terms of the matter, it is all known. We would await the judgment of the court. At least 5 people were accused. My understanding is that the 5th is at large.
Yes.
And the 3rd is at large. That's why they are large. I am not too sure about it. Now, I remember the manager of the company also turned as a prosecution witness. So it brings to fore some levels of clarity in my mind. But I'm not here to pass judgment. I wish the state were in the same way I wish Wontumi also were. May the one that has not committed any crime not be punished, but may the one that has committed a crime be punished. That is the only way we build a country. You see, punishing crime is not a bad thing. It is just to correct the system. You understand? And can you imagine if there is punishment? And here I'm not saying that Wontumi is guilty, and nobody, no judge worth the salt must punish anybody who is not guilty. That one I will never support it. We can make our noise in the media about if the facts before you does not suggest so, under no circumstance. In the same way, under no circumstance must any judge be afraid than when the facts before you suggest that the crime has been committed, you let go. No. But what I'm saying is that, be that as may, today as we speak, I'm sure people are engaging in this galamsey, thinking that they can hide behind the power of their government. A day of reckoning will one day come. Remember, we had an issue in either the strategic south or north where the MP and the colleagues issue. One day, somebody may revisit it. But we do all these things to protect the environment. This flooding we experience here and there, some of it could be attributed to this galamsey.
There can be a link, yeah.
You understand? No, the flooding across the country.
Okay, right.
Across the country.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that we are sitting with a medical doctor. At least I've heard from Dr. Sampini, Professor Sampini, how women and even their menstrual cycles are being affected by this galamsey. What about the food situation, the sort of food that we are consuming? Nobody is saying that mining is not good. Mining is a good thing, but we have to do responsible mining. We have to do responsible, because God has given us that mineral beneath the earth. We must mine it, but there are proper ways. At least if you were to check the World Council of Goals statistics, Ghana is about 8 on that ladder. I mean, in the world. You have the Russians, you have the China, you have the US, Canada, Mexico, all of them coming ahead of Ghana. How come they are able to do responsible mining and we are not able to? That is the government of the matter. And I believe that this will bring clarity and shape our mining sector going forward. And especially at the time that some of us are pushing that Ghanaians must take the commanding heights when it comes to our mineral sector. I will make sure, if you are a Ghanaian businessman and you have knowledge in the mining sector, ready yourself. It's a huge opportunity. We will take whatever has been lost. We will collect it back.
Even go fields.
About go fields, it's not negotiable. 1 year, how South Africa has behaved.
It's okay.
Thankfully. Oh my goodness.
Okay. And Dr. Naba, does a case like this, does it help restore confidence, or based on the various communications that have come, the various positions people have expressed since the trial began, or does it only deepen suspicions on how political actors handle these things?
You see, that is something really I think Ghanaians, we have to do away. When top politicians are charged for suspicion or allegedly for doing something wrong, we like to throw our weight behind any political leader anytime they are suspected of having committed a crime that they are going to go through the justice system, or they have been corrupted and they want to take them through the normal court proceedings to either exonerate them or find them guilty. I think that all of us must allow people and the judicial system to do its work.
Okay.
When somebody is alleged to have done something and is going through the judicial process. I saw, what is his name? Benjamin Netanyahu is currently fighting a war with Iran.
Yes.
But they are investigating him for corruption. And no one goes with him to the CID or to the court. He goes alone, but he's a president. Zuma of South Africa went to court.
He was jailed.
And was jailed. Sarkozy of France who went to court and lost. And several of them, even Argentina, one of their presidents, the lady, is in court for $1 billion fraud. She goes alone. We're not saying that we shouldn't sympathize with our political colleagues when they are alleged to have committed a crime and they are going through the judicial system. If we allow the process to go on freely, we don't put pressure on the government, we don't put pressure on the prosecutors, we don't put pressure on the judges. Look, the system would correct itself. People will also understand that when you are doing something against the state, you have to be careful. It becomes a deterrent. But the way we all of us rush out Like I saw, what was that? Afenyo Makin, a minority leader, going to sit in front of Iyoko.
When he sat on the floor.
Sit on the floor. Somebody who doesn't open his car gate, people open for him to enter and close, but he went to sit on the floor because somebody was alleged to have committed a crime and they have called him to Iyoko to question him. Iyoko is not a bad thing. In the US, they call people.
He was only in solidarity with a colleague.
But solidarity, see, I'm not saying we should be solidarized with colleagues. I've had colleagues that have committed crimes.
And there was a reason for those things.
God forbid.
Yes.
For any reason that they arrest you for any perceived crime.
Yes.
People like us will solidarize with you because we know whom you are.
But you don't determine how to
and even swear that you destroy the place. What? Saying that you make the country ungovernable, you make the country look, it's not good. We politicians, we create the problems for ourselves.
But where statements were said by this current government when they were in opposition.
I am talking in general. I'm not isolated.
No, but you are single at one particular
I just use an example.
Mr. Kosi, let's stay on track.
I'm using an example to let you understand that it has become a subculture.
Let's stay on track. That's another. Yes.
So I am saying that look, let's tackle people who are suspect, who are public officers, and have been charged for certain crimes. Let's handle them very well. Let's not use political positions just to support people and make noise. You can support him. See his lawyer, provide him evidence, give him money to support his lawyer, to help him at least go to court, maybe give him something to help his family whilst he's in detention and in the rest. But let's not go against the state, the prosecutors, making insinuations as if the prosecutors are not doing their work. Look, they are the same prosecutors who. When NPP is in power, they are the same prosecutors. When NDC is in power, they are the same prosecutors. So let's allow fair trial. And let's allow people to have their rights in the court to ask for bail, to ask for whatever. If the court refuses them the bail, they go to the superior court and continue.
We should
Look, the rule of law,
use the bail as punishment.
That's what I'm saying. But we have a process, a judicial review of a punishment. You can go so that judge said when they go to the superior court and ask for a review and they review it, they mark him down. They'll say you refuse somebody a bail out of your own let me say overzealous judgment. And you'll be booked for that.
Oftentimes, they don't refuse the bail. They'll give you bail, but the conditions will be too much.
But that's why when they go for a review and the superior court sees that, look, the condition you gave him was very bad, they will note him down. The judicial system has that system of noting judges who are recalcitrant in certain things. They also have a disciplinary code.
I don't know whether they can review the bail condition. That I'm not very sure.
Higher court.
You can go to human rights court
to review the bail condition.
Yes, you can go.
Okay.
You see, if we allow rule of law to work, like I've just mentioned, example, Sarkozy, who was a president, was in court. He went through all the due process.
Right.
Was found guilty and imprisoned. So you see, it is not that the courts are too bad. It is how we put pressure on the courts sometimes. Our own political influences and the rest are making some of the cases get news, get to fly. So to me, I'm not going to sit down here and say Wuntimi is guilty or not guilty. The judge has all the evidence to prove it. But to me, it serves as a deterrent that if you go to mine at a place that you are not supposed to mine, and you are arrested, you go under these type of processes, and you be dealt with. But our appeal to Ghanaians, let's reduce the galamsey and illegal mining. It's causing a lot of problem for us. I think a lot of literature is out, a lot of information is out. Women are giving birth with children with a lot of deformities. People are, look, Kumasi, KNUS, Konfonoche, cases of renal failures has increased exponentially, and when they track their origin, they are coming from those mining areas. So it means that there's something wrong. The US, as they've said, China, as they've said, they are mining their gold. Russia is mining its gold, but we are not hearing these side effects or these complications coming from the mine. It means we are not doing responsible mining, just like we are not responsible in many things. Even in building, we are not responsible. Driving, we are not responsible. In traffic lights, we are not responsible.
We are not responsible.
We are not Ghanaians. We have to use this our religious root we have. 75% are religious, but we continue messing up. Please, Let's allow the rule of law to take its place. Even to me, is innocent. They'll free him. We'll all agree and they'll free him. If he's guilty too, it should serve him well to deter others from repeating what he has done. That is what I would say.
Mr. Kuting, Chairman Woon to me, he's a big person. He's a big fish. Oftentimes, people are of the opinion that the laws are quicker when you're dealing with the regular people like myself. I mean, you people, you are the upper echelons. You are
it's the population that come after him. That is the problem.
You are the bourgeois. So we'll leave it like that. What signal does this send? Granted that the court has not made a ruling yet. We don't know whether he's innocent or he's guilty. But the fact that he has gone through trial up until this point, what signal does this send that this is a government or the state is willing to even look for the top names, the big fishes involved in this menace we deal with?
Well, like my colleagues before me, I think I will play the Pontes palette card here and allow the courts to decide. But if you look at the chronology of events leading up to where we are today, and thankfully on the 3rd July, a judgment will be delivered, I think that no one should be above the law. What I believe in is due process. And we must stop the public prosecution of people who are alleged to have committed crimes. You damage the reputation of this individual, and maybe you put the facts before the court and the individual is freed. And you can't fix that. You see how Chairman Woon to me was vilified publicly, as if a judgment was already passed on him. And the bail conditions they imposed on him was very unacceptable, because it even caught the eye of a serving minister in the NDC, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, of the Minister of Education.
Yeah.
A very, very respected figure in the NDC and a senior brother, to say that, in fact, we must be mindful about the excessiveness we place on alleged perpetrators of crime when it comes to bail conditions. And he quoted the relevant laws as a lawyer, and I support and respected him for that. Now, look at the quick nature the Chairman Woon to me prosecution went.
Yeah.
Are we going to do same to others? We must be mindful and guided. Equity. Maybe it's Chairman Woon to me today. We don't know whom it will be tomorrow. So when we set dangerous precedent, it defeats the very purpose of the laws we are protecting. You understand?
No, I don't get it.
You see, you prosecute this person in public.
No, which one is the prosecution?
How is a public prosecution?
You remember the Attorney General?
No, but Attorney General, that is
series.
Yes.
No, but that is right.
Wait.
That is the right position.
Wait, Solo.
Yes.
See,
no, that's why I'll banter you.
Yes, let's banter.
I'll banter you because
my brother went to the quick nature.
The quick nature must be.
Who determines how quick?
And in fact,
how the trial
in
goes?
fact, it is even to the advantage of the defendant if you have been accused or haven't done something. Is it not in your interest that the matter is dispensed quickly enough so that we know that you are innocent?
Do you know that at a point, the judge told the defense team, when they were looking for other documents from the prosecution, that if they don't file their written, how do you call it? Submissions. She was going to go ahead and pass judgment without them.
No, but that's that is how courts operate.
The pressure that was brought on this very singular case least might be disaster.
No.
We have other cases.
I disagree entirely.
We have other cases.
Won't Jimmy's lawyer disagree with you?
No.
Because he has come openly to say that the process has been fair, has been so detailed, they have been offered the opportunity to defend themselves. So on what basis are you saying that?
These are the timelines. These are the timelines that we're looking at.
Which of Chairman Woon to me?
I have heard it.
Initially when they started.
Which started?
And the cordial nature the procedure went.
Yes.
He said he was happy.
Everything
but
about
at the later part of the prosecution, when they were asking for time they just said no.
So, when they even mentioned that,
the defense team even argued that coming to court 2 times in a week was too much for them. They just said no.
But the question was going
every day. See, Mr. Coating, I understand.
How long did the Jesse Question case take?
Don't go there, Jesse Question.
How long did it take? It took 2 years plus.
Mr. Coating.
So you want this one to take 2 years?
No, not exactly.
So what is the point really?
Listen to me.
Because I'm very surprised.
I am looking at the dangerous precedents.
What dangerous precedents? That we are quick fast-tracking cases?
Let's assume Chamaun to me is.
We don't let us assume anything. You just take ourselves off it. Look, and then you are talking about.
Let me assume.
Don't assume anything.
That Chamaun to me has been convicted and jailed. Will that solve the Galamsey issue? Is Galamsey not going on?
Oh, but so what are you talking about?
Is Galamsey not going on?
We shouldn't get any armed robber.
We should not even be taking that.
We shouldn't imprison any armed robber.
But I get the concern you are raising. I get the concern you're raising about.
No, Kutima has come again.
Hold on. If we are resetting the system, it shouldn't be selective. It should be holistic.
Good. That point.
Holistic is
I'm driving at.
That point has been made.
But to me is not the only one. Who is alleged?
So you are not making a point.
Yes, who is alleged to have been engaged in Galamsey? What about the other myriad of issues and allegations that were bundled? The national organizer of the NDC, Yamin, and some other. Is it the first?
So now we can go into that. Why they have?
I get the concern.
So now,
the government came publicly to say that these people should be investigated. What happened?
Mr. Coating, you're raising very credible questions. But regardless, we have to start.
Regardless of that,
we have to start from one before we go to the other.
Yes.
What was my opening statement?
You are saying
my opening statement was that I plead Pontius Pilate here. Let the court decide.
All right.
But I have some reservations.
About the
and these are the reservations.
If you have reservations about how quick the trial has been, is a little bit concerning.
No, not how fast.
That's what you said.
My point was that at a point, the defense lawyers demanded that they give them some little bit of time to put certain things together. They just said no.
Okay.
Go ahead and pass the
So hold on for me.
That is why I'm coming.
Yes. We understand that.
That is not a political party doing it.
It's a judge. The discretion must be proportional. It must be reasonable.
They can go to a superior court. They can go to a superior court.
But look, is it?
They can go to a superior court. And even hold the pronouncement in the ruling. They can go to a superior court to stop the ruling.
Solo, you mentioned something here that look, if the bail conditions are excessive, you can go to the other courts, the human rights courts. That is cost to the defendant. It happened that maybe Chamaun to me has money. How many Ghanaians facing the same thing Chamaun to me is facing may have that resource?
That's a different matter.
So
that you go into the processes and talk about this.
The whole process leading to where we are. Many Ghanaians will read political reasoning to it because of the public prosecution, the way the matters were handled.
When you say public prosecution, we want to understand that. You reference the Attorney General's comment.
Yes.
The Attorney General is explaining that he's not prosecuting anybody in the public. He's only updating. Granted that there are reservations, people are not happy about it.
Why did that update stop, Sulu?
No, but me, I have had a problem with him.
Why did that update stop? Because the very people they wanted to demean and defend in the good eyes of the Ghanaian people.
No, it's not true.
They had succeeded.
No, it's not true.
There was no need to continue. That is the
example. Allow him to respond.
Yes, so you see, when an Attorney General files a writ at the court, it's a public document. Yes. It's like holding a press conference, if you care to know. Now, how many people get a chance to go to court to even follow the case? So, an Attorney General, he is supposed to be briefing the people of this country that this matter, this is what it is.
So, why is this selective? Why is he not doing it to the other cases? So, are you telling me that the Attorney General has stopped going to court?
He's going to court.
So, why is he not doing
But I told you that I have an issue that he's not even continuing.
Who forced the Attorney General to come to public?
Anyway.
positivity here.
They are the same people who force the
gentlemen, let's
come out because they say oral is dead.
Let's stick with the issues.
Oral is dead.
It's not dead.
Mr. Osu, Dr. Naba.
Are you sure oral is not dead?
Dr. Osu.
I have you on one platform.
It's okay.
Mr.
Osu, Dr. Naba, let's stick with the issues. So, Mr. Quoting, so let's answer the questions. You have some concerns about how the trial has been. Yes. Granted, that has been established, but looking at how the trial has been again, does it send a certain message that even big wigs can be dealt with?
Exactly.
Okay.
The message is clear, but it should not stop with Chamaun to me.
That's well made.
But that one, nobody will support that it stops with Chamaun to me. But your point.
So we are watching very closely, hold on, with eagle eyes. And we'll have same conversations here.
Okay. You spoke about the timeline. I have the timeline, how the case has traveled. So, on October 6th last year, Attorney General formally filed the charges against Chamaun to me and others in relation to the case. And then 7, the trial begins. Wontumi pleads not guilty, was granted bail. Okay, an earlier bail of 1 million cedis at the beginning of the trial, where there were also reports that the full charge process referenced 15 million cedis, bail conditions including sureties. There were passport deposits and then a stop list directive. This year, February 2026, prosecution closed the case. Wontumi's lawyers filed submission of no case, arguing that the prosecution had not established enough evidence. March 16, High Court rejected the submission. From February 2 to March 16, that's when the ruling came. May 7, defense files witness statements and prepares to open the case. The court was told witnesses would include Chairman Wontumi, former Deputy Lands Minister George Mekuduka and others. May 22, Chairman Wontumi opens his defense. He told the court the mine never operated or mined on the Samaboy concession. June 3, a few days ago, the trial ended. The defense called its 5th and final witness. The court directed both prosecution and defense to file written addresses by June 17, and judgment is fixed for July 3. So there's a comment also from Fiagwe. He's on Facebook. He says that asking for time to delay the court process cannot be justified by any way. He says that one cannot be justified. So we're trying to find a way to still be speedy.
Yeah.
But still maintain fairness.
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the points that Mr. Quoting is raising.
Mr. Quoting was not being fair to the court because you see, for the first time in our history, I'm coming. No, my brother, you know I will not criticize you unfairly. I always want to be fair with you. See, for the first time, I don't know whether you have observed this phenomena creeping into our judiciary or even court cases. When people go to court now, they go with bloggers and vloggers. You understand? After the case, or when the case is dispensed for the day, they come out and their lawyers are magnanimous enough to grant interviews. And I have followed Apia and the Apia Kubi carefully. Nowhere did he have this issue that you are raising. In fact, on the contrary, he has been so he has been cooperative, and he has said that the court has been so cooperative with them. So for me to learn and hear from you this morning saying that they were pleading for more time and it was not granted, it takes me aback.
If it was a headline news in one of your news,
you are
when the judge said that if they cannot continue to ask for X, B, or whatever, if they cannot comply with the timelines,
because when the judge,
she will go ahead and pass
because the judge realized at that material time.
How will not
taking the case to higher court to stop them that you are there was no case. So why do they allow you all the time to be dragging the case?
We all go to court.
And the 1 year
precedent.
They didn't drag the case.
1 year is not too much.
But let me find out. Do you have a problem with cases being dispensed very fast?
No, I don't have a problem.
So then what are we discussing here?
But it must be done fairly.
So where lies the unfairness?
Applicable to the other cases before our law court.
What to me?
This case went so fast.
Okay.
Fast more than Osimbo's record in the 100 meters. Let's compare cases in our jurisprudence.
Technology is now being used to help us.
Okay, so now the expectation. Hold on. So, Mr. Koting, now the expectation is that if this has been this fast,
yes,
all other cases
might be fast.
Okay.
That's fine. Let's put for that.
That's fine.
But to say it's been fast, you and I have been talking about the fact that our justice system is so slow. And if someone is being fast, you complain about
it. It should be fair and equitable to all other people. Fair enough.
Sunrise on 3FM.
Well, we have just about 3 minutes to get out of the studio. And it's been interesting. Dr. Thomas Anaba, Member of Parliament for Garu. Emmanuel Koti, Executive Director of the Africa Center for Security and Counterterrorism. And then Solomon Owusu, Director of Communications of the United Party. Gentlemen, it's Friday. Mr. Koting, I know you like to enjoy your Friday. Dr. Anaba, how are you spending Friday? Are you going to your constituency this
No,
this
I will
weekend?
not be going to my constituency. I have some few errands to do within Accra.
Okay.
There are some family funerals within Accra.
Then let's enjoy life.
I want to attend and also relax. But you know, as politicians, we are always on phone. Our phones are always
Yes.
active.
You work,
So we
work
even work
when you're
online
sleeping.
more than the physical presence.
Mr. Owusu, you are joining the live band, Mr.
Why not? But the only problem is that if Mr. Hanaba had been given a position,
there's still a few more years to come.
President Mahama must begin to do it.
You are lobbying for him.
At this stage, I have to lobby for him.
You do it.
Because the Ministry of Health, he can easily go there. That is a clean up.
You ask anybody.
Let's get worried about the flood.
We are worried. We are worried that you are not there.
Let's get worried about that.
Oh goodness, these men. Yes.
I want to make this categorical statement. You see, what happened to me is not a natural disaster.
Well, you suffered some the past few days?
No, I just mean.
Okay.
Rain is natural disaster. You agree with me? But death by rain is a policy choice. And every illegal structure that we found in Accra blocking our waterways have an institutional signature on those illegal structures. So it's about time we begin to do the right thing.
You prosecute them.
You can't tell me that a 3-story building will spring up and nobody is aware that building is going up.
When the building collapsed at Newtown, we had all seen it. It collapsed.
In fact,
we have to go.
Institutional failure.
Yes.
Institutional failure. And I say, look, other countries have even built their cities on water.
On water.
Netherlands is built on water.
Even some below the water.
It's just that structural and institutional planning is poor.
True. We have to go. We have to go.
It's unfortunate we didn't have time to talk about it. Because I did
I'm worried about the outbreak of disease. I'm worried about outbreak of infectious disease.
It's going to be cholera is going to be.
I'm worried.
No, cholera is going to be on the
even swimming in the waters.
But
look, why do we take this risk, especially we drivers? Why do you want to test the strength of our car?
No, it will easily float because of the tires.
Look, gentlemen, we have to go. Our time is up. Today is your birthday. I want to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Samuel Pekusumo of Accra International Airport. God bless you in all you do. A few more birthdays this morning. This one is to you, Joseph Mensa Abeka, Major Market Accountant Committee of the ADB. This is from Johnny Hughes. The next picture is from Johnny Hughes. Happy birthday to you, Joseph. Another birthday is to a lovely wife, Ivy Agbeko Pokwa. Say happy birthday to you, and I'm sure this is from your husband. Glorious birthday to Nanaya. Gloria Sewa Bonsun Sebi. May your years be more be more prosperous and filled with happiness. Cheers to greatness. Today is Christian Yali's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Christian Yali. God bless you. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. This has been Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Thank you for joining us on Facebook as well. See you again next week. It's the weekend. We're in the rainy season. Be careful. Take care. My name is Noble Crosby, and have a good morning. Bye-bye.
3FM.